Chapter 1381. In the beginning, everyone was suspicious of Lin Yun's words, but they couldn't resist Elder Mu's lead. In the end, under Elder Mu's lead, everyone began to believe that Lin Yun was telling the truth. As for them, they no longer had the passion to reorganize the Xuanzong sect. Sect Master, what should we do next? The man asked Yang Kuan. The only way to deal with this situation was to wait. Unfortunately, he wasn't the sect master, so he could only wait. Wait. Sure enough, Yang Kuan had no intention of retreating. He was waiting for an opportunity. On the other side, Elder Mu was pleasantly surprised when he confirmed that the array was refined by Lin Rei. This way, he could find a teacher who was shameless enough to teach him arrays. Thinking about it, he didn't want to return to the array guild. He felt oppressed there, and he didn't have freedom. Most importantly, he couldn't improve his array Dao. This little brother, look at this old man. I don't have any other requests. I just want to improve my array Dao. It wasn't easy to find such a powerful array. Do you think this old man will give it up? Lin Yun, Zhu Tai, everyone. These words were enough, and the crowd had nothing to say about it. They just quietly looked at this shameless thing. Little brother, let's make a deal. Let me cultivate here, and I'll give you nether jade. What do you think? No. Lin Yun shook his head and refused. He didn't hesitate at all. Little brother, I haven't mentioned the price yet. Aren't you being a little impatient? Elder Mu was helpless. He felt that it was more difficult and tiring for him to fight this time. On the side, Zhu Tai came back to his senses. He knew what Elder Mu was thinking and immediately went forward to persuade him. Lin Yun was indifferent to this, but Zhu Tai was different. If you want to plead for me, then give me some of the things here. I don't like this kind of blood-red and fishy smell. Okay, I'll get it right away. For the sake of his master's happiness, he didn't care about sacrificing himself. Just like that, Zhu Tai took action. It had to be said that he was very efficient. As for Elder Mu, Lin Yun looked at him and said, if you want to comprehend the array, I can give you a chance, but you have to agree to one of my requests. All right, go ahead. Lin Yun wasn't used to Elder Mu's straightforwardness. Are you sure? I'm sure. Elder Mu nodded in agreement. Since that was the case, Lin Yun did not bother to be courteous and said directly, it's simple. You can stay here and comprehend the array. However, you must protect the mysterious sect until the vice sect leader returns. How is it? Hearing this, Elder Mu fell silent. It was for no other reason than the fact that this condition was too important. He didn't want to agree so rashly. Although the surrounding area is filled with people looking for you, there is strength in numbers. This forced him to hesitate and consider carefully. I agree. However, in less than 3 seconds, Elder Mu readily agreed. This time, it was Lin Yun's turn to be shocked. He hadn't expected such an outcome. Just like that, Elder Mu became the protector of the Xuanzong sect, which gave the other sects a headache. Young Master, it's not good. Young Master Lin Rei has been captured and brought to the enforcement hall. The servant who had just walked in reported to the youth who was writing at the desk. What? Brother Lei has been captured? How is that possible? What happened? Isn't Brother Lei living well? Why was he captured? When the youth heard that Lin Rei had been captured, his reaction was very agitated. He threw the pen he had been writing with aside and dirted an empty piece of paper. I don't know, but I vaguely heard that young Master Lin Rei killed someone. Moreover, that person was a talented disciple that the clan wanted to nurture. Seeing his young master so agitated, the servant hurriedly told him everything he knew. How could this be? This won't do. We have to hurry to the enforcement hall. Brother Lei's body is already weak. If he's tortured, he'll be finished. With that, the youth walked towards the enforcement hall. In the enforcement hall, Lin Rei didn't know that he had an older brother who cared about him so much. At the same time, Lin Batian arrived at the enforcement hall. Oh, Master, you're here. Come and sit here. The 2 elders who were talking on the podium saw Lin Batian at the door and hurriedly stood up to welcome him. Haha, you must be joking. You're the elders, so it's better for you to sit up there. I'll just sit here and watch. As he spoke, Lin Batian walked over to a nearby chair and sat down. His eyes were fixed on Linley, never leaving him. "All right, master. But family head, this matter involves your son. What do you think?" The old man said awkwardly. "Don't worry about me. Do as you see fit. As long as he commits a crime, you don't have to worry about me." Hearing Lin Baishan's words, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed. "Lin Rei, you said that you killed Lin Ji and his servants?" "Yes." "Then why did you kill them? And how did you do it?" When the two elders heard Lin Baishan's words, they hurried over to Linley and questioned him. "Because they wanted to kill me, so I killed them. As for how I killed them, you'll have to ask Lin Yang. He saw everything." Linley was currently directing the conversation towards Lin Yang. He didn't want to say too much. "Master elders, when I arrived, I checked Lin Ji's body and found that they were all killed in one move. It seemed like they were stabbed to death." "What? Stabbed to death?" After listening to Lin Yang's report, the two elders were shocked. They stared at Linley, not knowing what they were thinking. Lin Batian was even more shocked. He didn't think that the son he had almost forgotten about would be capable of such a feat. With a swoosh sound, the elder's hand suddenly slapped towards Linley, without any warning at all. Linley suddenly sensed a powerful force closing in on him, and he hurriedly used the astral finger. Although he knew that this attack wasn't something he could withstand, Linley still used his fastest reaction speed to defend against it. Lin Rei's finger collided with the elder's hand. Lin Rei was instantly injured and the sound of his finger breaking could be heard. "You!" Lin Rei was furious. He had a good impression of the two elders, but now they were being attacked by Lin Rei. No matter what the reason was. As expected, this kid. When the elder felt Linley's attack, he was already shocked. Linley's attack just now had the strength of someone at the 9th level of the body tempering stage. This made him very surprised. "How is it?" At this moment, Lin Batian, who was watching from the side, saw the result and asked the elder who had attacked. "Patriarch, when we were testing Lin Rei, we found that his attack had the strength of a 9th stage physique tempering cultivator. However, his cultivation is only at the 6th stage. This is what surprised me the most." After hearing the elder's words, Lin Batian was also shocked. A 6th stage physique tempering cultivator actually had the strength of a 9th stage physique tempering cultivator. How powerful was that? Even he wasn't this strong when he was at the same level. Alright, since the matter has been confirmed, then Lin Rei's punishment is to be crippled of his cultivation and be imprisoned in the family for life. He is not allowed to take half a step out of the family. These sudden words shocked Linley as well as everyone else in the room. "Patriarch, do you see any problems with my method? If there are no problems, then do as I say." Lin Batian frowned and didn't say anything. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, this was undoubtedly a fatal blow. At this moment, the faint hope in Lin Rei's heart was finally extinguished. His originally heavy body suddenly felt lighter. Lin Rei knew that the obsession of his previous body had completely dissipated. This body truly belonged to him. Bastard, what's going on? Is there still an illusion after breaking through to the Earth Sage realm? Looking at everything in front of him, it was as if he had returned to the Lin family. Although it wasn't his real home, it was enough to make him disheartened. After all, this body had left home. Because of his father, he had experienced the fickleness of human nature. Everyone said that even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. However, he did not hesitate to attack his own son. This was enough to make him shocked. "Old man, no matter what, you are still the head of a sect. How dare you attack the emperor so shamelessly? How shameful! There was no other way." In order to prevent Jean Ling from being threatened, Bing had to do this. "Haha, stop pretending. Lin Rei's wife is now in my hands. Tell me, what should you do?" After saying this, the Heaven and Earth Path grabbed Jean Ling's neck. In the air, he used his cultivation to remind the Xuanzong sect members, "All of you, stop. Your sect leader's wife is now in my hands. Put down your weapons and I will let you go. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen to you." As he said this, the Heaven and Earth Path's hand tightened around Jean Ling's neck. A painful expression flashed across Jean Ling's face, but she was still stunned and cried out. However, the Heaven and Earth Path's method was still effective. Sure enough, after hearing the Heaven and Earth Path's voice, all the Xuanzong sect disciples put down their weapons and raised their heads to look at the Heaven and Earth Path. Their faces were filled with anger. "Quick, let my mother go. Otherwise, I will kill all of you." Suddenly, Jean N, who was in the crowd, panicked when he saw his mother being captured. He rushed out of the crowd in an instant and roared at the crowd. The murderous intent in his eyes was chilling. Looking at those eyes that could devour people, everyone was stunned. "Quick, quick, quick. Go back, don't worry about me." Looking at her son, Jean Ling instantly panicked. At this moment, her son stood out. He was undoubtedly treated as the target of public criticism. At the heart of the storm, it would definitely be very dangerous. This was not what she, as a mother, wanted to see. However, the more she did not want something to happen, the more it would happen. "Haha, Lin Rei's son. Since this is the case, I will kill him first and let all of you know that the heaven and earth path is definitely a person who will do what he says." With a whoosh, while everyone was in a daze, a cold light flashed at the speed of light and arrived in front of Jean N's chest in an instant. Without any hesitation, it directly pierced through Jean N's body. "Ah! Don't!" A furious roar came out of Jean Ling's mouth. Unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. At this moment, a hole appeared in Jean N's chest and blood slowly flowed out from it. Killed. Simple and decisive, ruthless and dignified. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect the heaven and earth path to be so shameless as to use someone else's wife as a bargaining chip to win. They did not dare to agree with this. "Ah!" A blood-curdling scream came out from Jean Ling's mouth. Tears flowed from her eyes without any regard for her life. However, these tears were not colorless, but blood-red. Yes, it was blood. Watching her own son die in front of her and being powerless to do anything about it was such a heart-wrenching thing. B****, listen to me, stop. Lin Rei began to resist. He did not want to continue watching. He was afraid that he would return to the time of killing. Moreover, if he completely entered the illusion during the breakthrough, it would eventually give birth to inner demons. At that time, not only him, but everyone present would be killed by his inner demons. He might even go out and use the evil blood chi and the power of the remnant souls to break through to a higher level. At that time, no one would be able to control it and it would be the end of the underworld. As he thought about it, he circulated his cultivation and skills and began to fight against the illusion. He did not want to sink into it. He was afraid that if this continued, who knew what kind of messy things would happen in the future. At that time, he was afraid that he would not be able to control this door. No, if this continued, he would only sink into it and become nourishment for the inner demons. System, quick, do you have something to suppress the illusion during the breakthrough? Helpless, he could only ask the system for help. Ding, yes. Buy it quick, give me one. Lin Rei was really anxious. He did not even ask for the price. According to his nature, it was necessary to ask for the price in advance, but now. Ding, okay. Inside the system, a shop screen flashed. A dazzling array of top-grade items flashed before his eyes. Finally, it stopped at a red pill. Ding, Spirit Guarding Pill, 50 million exchange points, can only be purchased once in a lifetime. System, are you sure you want to use it now? The system asked again to confirm. Yes, hurry up. Lin Rei urged. In this regard, the system said that it had nothing to say. It could only, ding, purchase successful. Exchange points have been deducted. The host's debt has exceeded the limit. Host, please pay off the debt as soon as possible. With a thought, the spirit guarding pill in the system instantly entered Lin Rei's mouth. As for the pill, it melted in his mouth. It was sweet and delicious. This was all Lin Rei felt now. Chapter 1382. Damn, I spent so many exchange points just to buy something like this, Lin Rei complained. 2 hours ago, he had already eaten the guardian spirit pill. However, other than the fact that it was sweet and delicious, he did not feel anything else. At this moment, he was still trapped in the illusion, unable to extricate himself. F***ck, system. Can't you be a little more serious? Is it fun to trick me like this? As he grumbled, he mobilized all of his strength to protect his beer. He did not want to suffer a setback because of this. If he couldn't break through to the Earth Sage realm, then he wouldn't even have the strength to fight back after leaving this place. Thinking about the horror of the Death Realm, Lin Rei felt like he had been cheated. Host, please don't slander me like this. Finally the system spoke up. Damn you! What you mean is that you can trick me, but I can't say anything about you. He rolled his eyes and gave up. What the F***ck is this? However, right at this moment, the image from the year before suddenly started to distort. Following that, a new image appeared. However, the image that appeared at this moment gave Lin Rei a feeling of unfamiliarity, yet it caused his heart to palpitate. Chuan Valley and Xuanzong Sect were shown on the screen. However, the scenery was gone. Instead, it was replaced by blood and corpses. A young man was half kneeling on the ground. He was supporting himself with a long spear. Blood was flowing out of his mouth. His aura was extremely weak. Looking at the young man, Lin Rei's pupils contracted. Wasn't this his son? Lin Rei did not understand why such a scene would appear in the illusion. However, what puzzled him even more was that he had never experienced such a scene before. It could even be said that such a battle had never occurred in Chuan Valley, ever since he had come to the Saints' world. Lin Rei couldn't figure it out, but the palpitations in his heart grew stronger and stronger. This gave Lin Rei a bad premonition, as if this scene had really happened before. System, what's going on? Why do I have this illusion? The only thing that could give him an explanation now was the system. He believed that the system would know. System. Silence. The system did not respond. It was like a yak entering the sea, disappearing without a trace. System. Come out and tell me what's going on. Why is this happening? The system was silent. Lin Rei's heart sank. He knew that if something like this happened to the Xuanzong Sect, he would return to the Xuanzong Sect at all costs. Not only were his achievements there, but his wife and children were there as well. He did not want to leave behind any regrets, nor did he want to hear about the death of his wife and children. He could not accept it. He really did not want to experience it again. He swore, however, the system still did not respond. Regarding this, Lin Rei gave up. He understood that since the system did not speak, it meant that there was something fishy going on. No, this can't go on. As he thought about it, he thought about the battle generals he had summoned in the Xuanzong Sect. For a moment, an idea came to his mind. Even though I don't know if you will be able to sense it from so far away, this is the only way we can do it now. As he spoke, the hovering treasure mirror appeared in his hand. Suddenly, a gray energy rushed out from the hovering treasure mirror and was instantly absorbed by Lin Rei. He absorbed it into his body and began refining it. Right now, if he wanted to break through to the Earth Saint realm faster, he could only break through with force. If he wanted to break through smoothly, he was afraid that he would not be able to make it in time. In fact, they could not afford to wait. Quick, we have to be quick this time. Regardless of whether the illusion was real or not, he could not allow it to happen. He was betting that it wasn't. A huge amount of Saint spiritual energy appeared in Lin Rei's body. He had already reached his limit, but now, such a huge amount of uncontrollable energy had appeared. This caused his originally powerful body to be slowly eroded, and it was on the verge of collapsing. As time passed, more and more gray energy appeared in Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Lin Rei's body had already reached its limit. Because his body was too strong, it could not withstand the powerful energy's erosion. Cracks began to appear on the surface of his skin. Blood-red patterns began to appear. At first, there were only a few, but as time passed, more and more blood-red patterns appeared. In the end, his original appearance could no longer be seen. There were only purple patterns. This can't go on. If this continues, not only will I not break through, but I will also be affected by this energy. Sensing the intensity of the energy in his body and the pain coming from his body, he was no fool. Although he was anxious to save people, he couldn't joke around with his life. He knew that if he died, the Xuanzong Sect would also be finished. No. Refine. Lin Rei began to use the excess energy to cleanse his body. Although this was a waste of resources, there was no other way. Now, other than using the energy to refine his body, he couldn't think of any other way to relieve the pain. Little by little, as he operated the Devouring Heaven spell, the excess energy in his body began to seep into his body. Lin Rei's body was already close to breaking through to the divine realm. Now, just by absorbing a little energy, there were obvious changes in his body. The original cracks on the surface of his body were slowly recovering after being washed by the energy. The original purple color on his body also began to fade until it disappeared completely. Oh, I didn't expect my blood to return to my body in the end. Lin Rei was a little surprised when he felt the energy brought by the purple blood. He knew that he had the Hongmeng sovereign body, but he didn't expect the blood in his body to have such energy. After absorbing the energy transformed from the blood in his body seemed to have been upgraded to a higher level. He felt that he could use it more freely than before. Moreover, his strength had increased a lot. It seems that the function of my sovereign body isn't pure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have not used it all this time. When he thought about it, Lin Rei felt that he was at a disadvantage. Other people's physiques were all awesome until the end. What about his? Damn it, he was like a weakling at the beginning. He was about the same halfway through. Now that he had become a sage, he finally felt that he was a little useful. He wasn't as useless as he used to be. This brat obviously took advantage of me, but he's still acting like he's innocent. When the system heard Lin Rei's thoughts, it had an impulse to rush out and kill him. What do you mean by a weakling? It's obviously because you don't know how to use it. Damn it, you're not strong. That's because you don't know how to develop your potential. Alright, don't blame everything on other things. Of course, Lin Rei didn't know what the system was thinking. Even if he knew, he wouldn't say anything. Chapter 1383. Because of Lin Yun's conditions, the Xuanzong sect was temporarily out of danger. But everyone knew that this was only on the surface. In fact, there was a storm brewing in the dark. No one could guarantee that it would happen again. At that time, without Elder Mu's deterrence, what would happen? They didn't have the ability to protect themselves. This won't do. I have to inform Xiefeng as soon as possible so that he can hurry back. Otherwise, Lin Yun didn't dare to imagine how terrifying that would be. He got up and rushed to where Lin Ling was. His speed was very fast and the distance was not far. Soon, he came to the place where Lin Ling often went into seclusion. Here, other than Lin Ling, only he, the sect leader, was qualified to come. Standing still and looking at the closed door, Lin Yun frowned. He thought that his daughter was cultivating. This was common for Lin Ling. Thinking about it, Lin Yun released his spiritual sense. But in the next moment, Lin Yun's heart sank. He had a bad premonition. She's not cultivating at this time. Where did she go? Thinking about it, Lin Yun took out a jade pendant and poured his spiritual energy into it. Where did you go? Father has something to talk to you about. At this moment, Lin Ling, who was in the profound domain's Lingfeng city, suddenly trembled. She, who was originally playing, paused and took out the jade pendant. After activating it, Lin Yun's voice came out from the jade pendant. I didn't expect Father to find out so quickly. Hearing the voice, Lin Ling knew that she couldn't hide it anymore. Of course, he didn't have any intention of hiding it. After all, he had to tell Lin Yun when he came out. Whether it was for the sake of the sect master or her father, it was something he should do. She poured her spiritual energy into it and said, Father, I'm in the profound domain now. When I have time, I'll go back. Don't worry, I'm fine here. Moreover, she looked at the dozen people in the dark and smiled. The sect has people protecting me. Don't worry. What? Lin Yun was dumbfounded. When did the sect send people to protect her? As the sect master, he didn't know? Grandpa must have informed them. I heard one of them call him Blood One. Hiss. Lin Yun sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard the other party's name. His face was filled with shock as he felt an indescribable sense of disbelief. He was very familiar with the name Blood One. When he was still a child, he had seen all of the blood fiends. That aura. However, later on, the blood fiends became Lin Rei's guard. After that, he had never seen them again. Now many years had passed and he had reached such a level. What about them? Lin Yun didn't dare to continue thinking about it. At the same time, he was happy that Lin Rei thought so highly of Lin Ling. You wretched girl, why didn't you tell me that you were going out? What if something happened? Wouldn't your mother be worried about you? Really? Although there was a reprimand in his words, they were very gentle and doting. Lin Ling could feel it. She understood that this time she had passed. Thinking about it, she couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat off her forehead. She didn't want to go through this kind of thing a few more times. Alright, since Blood One is here, I won't say anything else. Now that something has happened to the sect, it will be very dangerous for you to come back. Since that's the case, then, let's have fun outside. As she spoke, she waved her hand and was very relieved. Of course, it wasn't for Jean Ling, but for Blood One. Just like that, the two quickly ended the topic. As for Xiefeng's matter, they naturally talked about it. It was related to the sect's crisis, so how could he not be concerned? They weren't the only ones working hard. Lin Rei, who was far away in another realm, was also very nervous. Just now, he had finally opened one of the meridians in his body. At this moment, his meridians were unobstructed. Phew! He let out a long breath of turbid air and a smile appeared on his heavy face. Finally, there was a good beginning. Next, he had to work even harder. As he spoke, he gathered his strength again and began to rush towards another meridian. The speed was so fast that the spiritual energy in his body turned into an awl and instantly pierced the meridian barrier. Boom! A muffled sound came from Lin Rei's body. Lin Rei's body trembled and his face instantly turned pale. His entire person and aura became dispirited at this moment, as if he had stepped into old age. His entire person was listless. Damn, it's so hard. Seeing that there was no trace of damage on the meridian barrier, Lin Rei knew that it was impossible to break through another layer now. Because just now, he felt that his body might not be able to withstand the impact of that kind of power. Continue to refine for me. Suddenly, the devouring heaven art was activated again. Suddenly, the spiritual energy was absorbed, refined, and finally sent into his body. Slowly, his body entered a state of refinement again. With the appearance of this state, Lin Rei had forgotten the time outside. He only remembered that he seemed to have stayed here for a long time. Now, in this place, besides cultivating every day, he didn't have any spare time. He didn't allow himself to stop. He knew that if this continued, even if he could break through in the end, it would leave an indelible pain in his body. Crack, crack, crack. The bones in his body cracked. Lin Rei, who was originally pale and dispirited, instantly suffered after that moment. What skin and bones? That was the best description of Lin Rei at this moment. It was as if he, besides his bones, he was just skin, and as for his flesh, haha. It was impossible to tell at all. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. Lin Rei had been in the system for 10 years. In these 10 years, his daily job was to cultivate, and cultivate. He persisted like this for a long time. Finally, he stopped. There was still 1% of the meridian to break through to the Earth Saint realm. As for the remaining 99%, all of them would be broken through in the next 10 years. At this moment, his body, which was originally very vigorous, had increased his battle prowess by more than 10 times. His speed had also increased to the extreme. He believed that even if he encountered an early or even middle Earth Saint realm cultivator, he wouldn't be afraid. In fact, he could even kill them with one hand. With his eyes closed, Lin Rei clenched his fists and felt the surging power in his body. He knew that this wasn't his full strength. Although his strength had increased by several folds now, if he could break through the remaining meridians, his strength would reach another level. Even a great perfection Earth Saint realm cultivator might not be a match for him. After feeling the power in his body, he closed his eyes again. This time, he wouldn't come out of seclusion until he broke through to the Earth Saint realm. Just like that, Lin Li's eyes closed once more, and his entire being entered a mysterious, profound state. Chapter 1384. Xian Domain, Lingfeng City. After Lin Linger notified Lin Yun, she began to wander around unscrupulously. Xueqi and the others, who were secretly protecting her, felt helpless at Lin Linger's shopping prowess. From the very beginning, after leaving the Xuanzong sect, Lin Linger hadn't stopped walking. Of course, other than when she was tired or cultivating, she was always in a shopping frenzy. Xueqi was very puzzled by this. He wanted to know how many Saint Spirit crystals Lin Linger had brought out this time. In Lingfeng City, Xueqi had secretly asked around for Lin Linger's safety. He had to admit that the Xian domain was more than twice as strong as the Yellow domain. Let's take the cities of the two domains as a comparison. In the Yellow region there were at most 2 saints in a city, and no more than 3 at most. However, in the Xian region, he could sense 5 Dao fruit saints on the surface, and that wasn't all. He didn't know how many there were in secret. Not only that, but the Xian domain saint spirit qi was more than 3 times denser than the yellow domain. In terms of intensity, the 2 domains were simply incomparable. Lingfeng City had 3 great clans and a city lord. Among them, 2 saints belonged to the city lord's residence. As for the remaining 3, they naturally belonged to the 3 great clans. He wasn't afraid of those people. Unfortunately, as long as they weren't at the great circle of the Dao fruit realm, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Therefore, he was very confident that he could protect Lin Linger in Lingfeng City. Therefore, he didn't care about Lin Linger's reckless actions. As long as she didn't provoke an earth saint, the Xueqi sect, or even the heavenly court, it was fine. No matter how angry he was, those 2 clans had a deep grudge with the Xuanzong sect. No, they should be angry with him. They should have a deep hatred with Lin Rei. Lin Linger knew about the hatred with the Xueqi sect. Back then, Lin Rei had asked her to guard the cemetery. As for the heavenly court, only a few people knew about it. Lin Linger, Lin Yun, and the others weren't included. On the streets of Ling Fengqing, Lin Ling seemed to have let go of herself. From the time she was born until now, she had very little time to go out. It could almost be said that this was her first real diplomatic mission in history. Looking at the people on the streets, Lin Ling was very happy. Although she had met them on the way, she had come to the Xian domain, and it was the first city in the Xian domain. There were all kinds of spiritual herbs, magic tools, medicinal pills, talismans, and so on. What made her even more puzzled was that there were even street stalls selling cultivation techniques and battle techniques. Xiao Chen came to a roadside stall and squatted down. He scanned the books on the stall, and one of them was a combat technique called Astral Finger. Looking at this battle technique, Lin Ling frowned. She was displeased. Others might not know why, but she knew very well that this Astral Finger was the battle technique her grandfather had practiced when he was young. What happened? She turned her head and looked at the place where Xueqi was hiding. She sent a message to him. She wanted to know why the Astral Finger was here. However, in the dark, Xueqi was also puzzled when he saw the battle technique on the stall. However, he said, "Miss, maybe it's just the same name. Why don't you flip it over and take a look? Maybe it's fake?" As soon as he said that, Lin Linger's eyes lit up. She then nodded and reached out to grab the battle technique on the stall. "I want to see if this Astral Finger is the same as my grandfather's battle technique." At this moment, Lin Rei, who was at the critical moment of his breakthrough, naturally did not know that the name of his battle technique had become a street stall item in the Xian domain of the Holy World. Netherworld, Secluded Valley, Dragon Spring Secret Realm, System Space. At this moment, Lin Rei's body was surrounded by golden light. It turned into strands of golden spiritual energy that were like strands of hair, revolving around Lin Rei's body. If one looked carefully, they would notice that there were faint purple spots within the golden color. Almost there, almost there. Just one more strand left. As he spoke, the saint's spiritual energy in his body suddenly recovered to its peak. Then, without hesitation, he gathered all of his spiritual energy. This time, Lin Rei was staking everything on this one throw. As the saying goes, it's success or death. Spiritual energy gathered in front of the barrier. Under his control, the spiritual energy turned into long swords in the shape of 10,000 Law's sword. They floated in the air and locked onto the barrier. This time, he wanted to break through to the Earth Saint realm in one go. This way, his strength would increase, and the Sect's strength would also increase along with him. This way, the Sect's danger would no longer exist. Think about it, with 10 great circle Earth Saint cultivators, which sect in the entire yellow domain would dare to come and cause trouble? Of course, perhaps those holy lands with a long history might have this kind of strength, but would they come back? This was something that no one knew. Success or failure depends on this one move. Holding his breath, he waited for his spiritual energy to reach its peak. Then, he controlled thousands of 10,000 Law's swords and charged towards the barrier. This momentum was unstoppable, unstoppable. Break for me. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, a spiritual energy whirlpool appeared in Lin Rei's body. In front of the barrier, the 10,000 Law's swords collided with the barrier. Hundreds of swords collided with the barrier, but in the end, they did not leave any traces. At this moment, Lin Rei was anxious. This won't do if this continues, I'm afraid. Looking at the remaining swords, Lin Rei changed his strategy. His spiritual energy instantly covered the barrier and began to search for the weakest part of the barrier. Thus, a wise man has his own views. He did not want to blindly charge forward and end up with his head broken and bleeding. Moreover, it would be useless. Time slowly passed. Just as Lin Rei's patience was running out, suddenly, he came out of the barrier, causing Lin Rei to smile. Finally found you. Looking at the slightly weaker part of the barrier, Lin Rei did not hesitate. In an instant, he mobilized all of his swords and charged towards the weakest part of the barrier. Boom boom. Kacha. Suddenly, a cracking sound rang out. On the originally indestructible barrier, an undetectable crack appeared. However, Lin Rei was very happy about this. Perseverance was victory. Now that the crack had appeared, it was like taking a small step toward success. Then, Lin Rei continued to attack. His swords collided with the barrier one after another. As time passed, the holy spiritual energy in Lin Rei's body became more and more empty. As Lin Rei's spiritual energy condensed into swords gradually decreased, a loud bang rang out. Suddenly, a shocking amount of holy spiritual energy rushed in from all directions. In addition to the spiritual energy that Lin Rei already possessed, he began the process of breaking through. At this moment, the meridians in his body were broken. As long as the holy spiritual energy was completely filled, he would be able to break through to the Earth Saint realm. At this moment, he discovered that his physical body had also entered the Earth Saint realm the moment his cultivation broke through to the Earth Saint realm. It had even reached the Earth Saint realm. Chapter 1385. Time flew by like a white steed. After an unknown amount of time, Linley's meridians, which had been dry for a long time, finally received the nourishment of a large amount of water. They became extremely comfortable, giving him a very different feeling. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying pressure rushed out of Lin Rei's body and swept in all directions at a speed that could harm people. His eyes, which were originally closed, suddenly opened, and a breathtaking light flashed through them. Crack! Crack! Rising to his feet, a bone-cracking sound could be heard from within his body. Sensing the surging energy within his body, Linley had the confidence that even if a paragon of the Earth Saint realm was in front of him, he would be able to slap him to death with a single palm strike. It was not a boast, but a confidence that was unprecedented. This was the power that the breakthrough had brought him. The Xuanzong Sect, the quiet Xuanzong Sect of the past, because of the hidden threats in the past and the present, they were unable to eat or sleep in peace. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura was heard in several places in the Xuanzong Sect. At the same time, in the Xuanzong Sect of the God World, a terrifying aura was also rising. This action shook the entire God World and the area within 1,000,000 miles of Chuyuan Valley of the Holy World. In the God World, a pressure suddenly appeared. Tendo of the God World appeared in the sky above the Xuanzong Sect and looked down at the Xuanzong Sect. Seeing the two terrifying forces in the Xuanzong Sect, he narrowed his eyes and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. This power had exceeded the limits of the God World's laws. He would not allow this threat to exist. At this moment, in the Xuanzong Sect of the God World, Bai Qi and Dian Wei were cultivating. But at this moment, the feeling of a breakthrough came again. They were very familiar with this power. They looked at each other and knew very well that this matter was definitely related to Lin Rei. Otherwise, their cultivation would not have been able to successfully break through to the Great Holy Round Bowl in such a short time. In the God realm. Oh no, in the Saints' world, this was extremely abnormal. Moreover, when they sensed that their cultivation did not feel weak at all, they felt very relieved. In the Saints' world, due to the sudden appearance of such a harmful pressure from the Xuanzong Sect, the dozen or so sects that were originally guarding the outside world could no longer remain calm. This power had already exceeded all of their strength. Even if they all worked together, they would not be able to kill this group of people. As the sect master of the Xuanzong Sect, the moment the pressure appeared, he came to the door of Ying and Bing. He wanted to figure out what was going on. This power was obviously beyond the Dao fruit realm. If that was the case, why had no one informed him earlier? According to his knowledge, the two of them had no intention of breaking through to the Earth Saint realm. In front of the Xuanzong Sect, Elder Mu, who was originally comprehending the array formation, felt the changes in the Xuanzong sect. His eyes were startled, and a breathtaking expression flashed across his face. What's going on? Why did so many Earth Saint Great Perfection cultivators suddenly appear in the Xuanzong sect? This was the first time he had felt such a situation, and it was even more so the first time he had encountered such a situation. This was simply impossible. He was aware of the Xuanzong sect's situation before. They could not do anything to a small sect that had existed for more than a decade, and even needed him to protect them. So why did so many cultivators suddenly appear in the Xuanzong sect in such a short time? Teacher, should we report this to the Array Formation Guild? Xueqi asked as he approached Elder Mu. Report. Elder Mu turned his head to look at Xueqi and asked in confusion, why should we? This Xuanzong sect's matter has nothing to do with us. Just mind your own business. As for the Xuanzong sect, I'm getting more and more curious about the person who created the Xuanzong sect. To be able to set up such a powerful array, his cultivation must be heaven-defying. Moreover, even the Array Formation Guild of a first-grade city does not have such a powerful array. He looked at his teacher with a look of disbelief in his eyes. He found it hard to believe that such a small sect could have such a powerful array master. Haha. Xueqi was his disciple, so he naturally understood Xueqi's nature. Alright, you should cultivate properly. When the sect master returns, I would like to let you cultivate with him for a period of time. Perhaps you will have a different feeling and improve. Xueqi was speechless. Xueqi did not reply, but returned to his seat and closed his eyes to cultivate. Sigh. He sighed. He understood that it was still too early to talk about this. So, within the Xuanzong sect, the oppressive aura finally disappeared. Lin Yun, who had been waiting for Ying in the ice gate, finally took a step forward and knocked on the door. Are the two of you in? Yes, come in. Lin Yun tidied his robes when he heard the voice coming from the door. He pushed the door open and walked in. What entered his eyes was the two of them sitting at the top, looking at him with indifferent expressions. Looking at the two of them, Lin Yun took a step forward and cupped his hands. Greetings, mothers. Yes, you must have felt it too. At this moment, Lin Rei was here. Apart from making a breakthrough in his cultivation, they really couldn't imagine what else he could be here for. Yes. Lin Yun nodded. We have made a breakthrough. Not only us but the first batch of people who followed our husband also made a breakthrough and entered the Great Round Bowl realm. I believe that this time, the Sect's crisis can be temporarily resolved. What? All of them made a breakthrough at the same time and entered the Great Circle of the Earth Saint realm? Lin Yun was shocked. He found it hard to believe that this was the truth. Once they made a breakthrough, they would be able to enter the Great Round Bowl realm. As a cultivator, he found it hard to believe. He believed that they could make a breakthrough into the Earth Saint realm, but this was too unbelievable. You don't have to do this. Ying's voice rang in his ears. Lin Yun raised his head and looked at her, his eyes filled with doubt. We are different from you. Our existence is only known to our husband. As for the specifics, we can't say anything. You only need to know that as long as our husband makes a breakthrough, our cultivation will also make a breakthrough with him. From the looks of it, our husband must have made a breakthrough into the early Earth Saint realm. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to enter the Great Round Bowl realm. When Ying said that, Lin Yun's eyes were filled with envy. As for jealousy, it was impossible. At the same time, he was shocked and proud that his father had such strength. All right, you can leave. As for those people outside, we will go out and deal with them. The most important thing for you now is to prepare to take over the territories of those sects and their foundations. Lin Yun understood the meaning behind her words and nodded. Yes, your son will go and prepare. Then, I will leave the matters outside to the two of you, mothers. Okay. Lin Yun left. Looking at the tightly shut door, Ying and Ying smiled. It looks like our husband is safe and he even obtained a great opportunity. Yes, that's right. Since that's the case, we can rest assured. Next we should deal with those ants. Chapter 1386. In the profound region's Lingfeng city, Lin Ling who was standing in front of a stall, didn't know that the originally precarious situation of the profound sect had been completely reversed due to Linley's breakthrough. At this moment, she was holding the star finger battle technique in her hand. Familiar scenes appeared in front of her. This Looking at the star finger in her hand, she, who was still hoping for a fluke, was completely defeated at this moment. There was no other reason than the fact that the combat technique in her hand was exactly the same as the one she had learned. Of course, in this combat technique, the last 3 levels were missing. Obviously, this combat technique was finished. She raised her head and looked at the stall owner in disbelief. She asked, "Boss, is this the complete version of the star finger battle technique? Don't tell me it's an incomplete battle technique and you're selling it as the complete version? What are you talking about?" The stall owner said directly. He was slightly unhappy. What was the meaning of this? His goods were honest and honest. Why did it become a scammer when it came to her? Of course he was thinking this, but his face was smiling. "Little girl, you must be joking. My goods here are the most complete in this stall. Even if the star finger battle technique went to other places, it would still be the same. This is the complete version of the battle technique. How about this?" Looking at a little girl like Lin Linger, the stall owner did not bargain too much. He stretched out 2 fingers and said, "Give me 20 Holy Spirit crystals and you can have the star finger battle technique." "You dare to ask for 20 Holy Spirit crystals? Blind Wong." At this moment, the stall owner took out the star finger battle technique from his stall and went to Lin Linger. He added, 15 Holy Spirit crystals. "If you can, take it." "Damn, you're stealing my business." Looking at this old man, Blind Wong did not expect that the usually honest old man would do such a thing. However, looking at this customer in front of him, how could he let him go so easily? 10 Holy Spirit crystals. "Take it." "Good, Blind Wong, you're awesome." Seeing that he could not beat Blind Wong in price, the stall owner gave him a thumbs up. He then turned and left. From the beginning to the end, Lin Linger did not say anything. Now that she had saved 10 Holy Spirit crystals, she was a little surprised. However, would she really care about this little? The answer was obviously no. He tossed out 10 Holy Spirit crystals and left with the star finger. Hee, although I didn't earn much, at least I did. I didn't have to pay for it. Seeing Lin Linger leave, Blind Wong chuckled and continued to drink. At this moment, Lin Linger, who had already left, looked at the star finger in her hand and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If Grandpa were to know that the star finger he cultivated was a street stall item in the mystic domain, how would he feel? She didn't have much of an impression of Lin Ray, but he was always so serious, especially when he punished her to guard the cemetery. "Blood One, how do you think Grandpa will feel after seeing this?" In the distance, Blood One froze when he heard Lin Linger's question. Thinking of Lin Ray's appearance, he shook his head helplessly. He believed that Rua Lin knew that those Shen domains would no longer have peace. However, he had also observed that this star finger wasn't as exquisite as the one Lin Ray had used. In fact, it wasn't even on the same level. If they really had to compare, Lin Ray's star finger was the sky, while the ones here weren't even *T. "Miss, where are we going next? Are we going to continue like this?" He didn't answer but asked instead. Although he was very confident, what if something happened? Could he bear the responsibility? What a joke. This was Lin Ray's granddaughter. If something happened to her, wouldn't he be implicated? Thinking of how terrifying Lin Ray was, he didn't want this to happen. "So, where are we going?" She looked ahead and suddenly, her eyes fell on a restaurant in the distance. Crazed Origin Restaurant. Interesting. This name is also amazing. Looking at this Crazed Origin Restaurant, Lin Linger was interested. "Let's go to Crazed Origin Restaurant." After saying that, she rushed out without waiting for Blood One's agreement. Soon, she arrived in front of Crazed Origin Restaurant. Looking at the endless stream of people coming in and out, Lin Linger was even more familiar with this place. Then a young man who came out from the side asked, "Brother, why are there so many people here? Moreover, where did the name Crazed Origin Restaurant come from?" After hearing Lin Linger's words, no matter if they were passers-by or those who came out of Crazed Origin Restaurant, all of them focused their attention on her with strange expressions. "You are? Miss, I guess you're not a local and have never been to Crazed Origin Restaurant." At this time, a middle-aged woman came from the side and reached out to hold Lin Linger's hand as if they were familiar with each other. Yes. Although she wanted to ask the middle-aged woman to leave, she didn't do so out of courtesy. A smile flashed across her face as she nodded and replied, Yes, I just came from another place, so I don't know much about Crazed Origin Restaurant. Please enlighten me. Hearing this, the frowning crowd understood and dispersed. As for the middle-aged woman, she naturally didn't leave. No wonder. The middle-aged woman nodded and began to explain. After a long time, Lin Linger finally understood that although the name Crazed Origin Restaurant didn't sound nice, the dishes and drinks inside were the best in the entire Lingfeng city. Especially the frost, it had a sweet aftertaste. It was fascinating. Lin Linger was good at everything, but she inherited Lin Rei's bad trait, which was drinking. As long as she heard there was good wine, she must drink it. When she heard that there was frost in Crazed Origin Restaurant, she naturally wanted to taste it. Let's go in. Let's see if the famous Qing Shuang is as good as they say. As she spoke, her eyes locked onto Xueqi and she said, "Come in with me. It's even better. Let's see if it's good or not. If it's good, make more of it and give it to Grandpa. I believe Grandpa will be very happy." Understood. Xueqi flashed and instantly appeared beside Lin Linger. Just like that, the two of them entered Crazed Origin Restaurant. As soon as they entered Crazed Origin Restaurant, they could smell the fragrance that assailed their nostrils. It was light, but it made Lin Linger and Xueqi have the urge to pour a cup of wine. Wow, this wine fragrance. Lin Linger took a deep breath and looked at the interior of the restaurant. It couldn't be considered luxurious, but it was still quite luxurious. The first floor of the restaurant was the same as the other floors. It had a large living room and a single room above. Xueqi, go and ask for more. The most important specialty of this restaurant is the frost. Remember to make more. Yes, young miss. Blood One clasped his fist before departing, but he was feeling a little depressed inside. He was a powerful being in the divine realm and even the holy realm, yet he was now forced to serve others tea and order menus. His life was getting worse and worse. Seriously? Well, there was nothing he could do about it. He quickly followed Xueqi to the bar counter. At this moment, a young man was sitting in front of the counter. He looked handsome and refined, but Xueqi didn't think so. He could vaguely sense a trace of killing intent from this young man. Although it was intermittent, he, who was condensed from the blood sea, naturally had a deep understanding of it. Not simple. I didn't expect such a small restaurant to have such an existence. Unlike before, he straightened his attitude and knocked on the bar counter saying, "Little brother, bring up all of your specialties and 2 jugs of Qing wine." After saying that, he pointed in Lin Linger's direction and said, "Once it's done, just send it to that table." After saying that, he turned around and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, the young man's voice exploded in Xueyi's ears. "Who are you? You have to pay to eat here." Xueyi turned around to face the young man and asked, "You have to pay before you can eat?" "Brother, this is your first time here, right?" The young man didn't say anything, but the old man beside him raised his head and asked, "Yes, is there anything wrong with that?" Xueyi nodded. "Hey, that's right," the old man said with a smile. In Crazed Origin Hall, you don't have to pay to eat, but you have to complete a task given by the boss. As for the frost wine, it's calculated according to the number of tasks you complete. As he spoke, he stroked the wine jug on the table, and a trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. For example, this wine in my hand was exchanged for by killing a bandit stronghold. As soon as he said that, everyone who was eating looked up at Xueyi and returned to their original appearance. At this moment, he discovered that those who could sit here were basically cultivators, and there weren't many ordinary people. At this moment, he understood that this was a task for him. Thinking about it, he looked at Lin Linger's expectant expression and nodded helplessly. He looked at the young man and said, "Tell me, I need these things for you." Hearing Xueyi's words, the young man smiled and waved his hand. Simple, simple. Then he ordered the waiter, "Go. First, give that young lady a few specialties and a jug of frost." "Yes, young master." The waiter nodded and turned to leave. "You are from here?" Seeing the young man like this, Xueyi sized him up again. "Brother, this young master is the owner of Crazed Origin Hall, Feng Bai." "Oh, so that's how it is." Xueyi understood. No wonder he had so much power. After all this time, it turned out that he was the owner of Crazed Origin Hall. At the same time, He understood that those things were not for free. He cupped his hands and said, "Tell me, what's the task?" He went straight to the point. He didn't like to beat around the bush like a woman. Simple. He pointed at the young man sitting in the distance and said, "Kill him and this meal can be given to you." What? That's the young master of Ouyang family, Ouyang Yu. Yes, I heard that this young master Yu has an innate sword body and has cultivated to the 5th level of the sword canon. In the future, he is very likely to become the next patriarch of Ouyang family. The owner of Crazed Origin Hall has a grudge with this young master Yu. Everyone began to discuss. They didn't understand, and of course, they were full of fear for this matter. As for Ouyang Yu, who had been identified as a target, he looked at Feng Bai with a smile. "My good brother, this is the first time your brother is here. Is this how you treat your brother?" Boom! Like a bolt from the blue, this information exploded in everyone's mind. What the F***CK? Brother? Are they real brothers? However, the only ones who didn't react to this scene were Blood One and Lin Ling. He didn't know Ouyang Yu, nor did he know the Ouyang family. He only knew that his young mistress wanted to eat this dish, so... Attack! Kill him! Blood One didn't move. This scene was so laughable in the eyes of others, but Lin Ling understood that he was going to use the person in the dark. Whoosh! Just when everyone thought that Blood One had gone crazy, suddenly, the sound of the air being torn apart flashed, and a person wearing clothes similar to Blood One's appeared. Die! Blood 9 arrived in front of young Master Yu and attacked him with a combination of attacks. His cultivation was stronger than young Master Yu's, and he was born in a place that was on par with the sword body. In fact, he was dozens of times stronger than the sword body. To him this was too fake. Bang bang bang. Young Master Yu was suspended in mid-air, and every time he was about to land, he would be punched by Blood 9 to stop him in his original position. Just like that, the end was quickly revealed. TSK, a piece of trash who accumulated pills. Blood 1 didn't need to look to know the situation. Kill him. Crack. Blood 9 exerted a little force, and young Master Yu's head tilted to the side, and he lost all signs of life. This scene left everyone dumbfounded. This was beyond their understanding. Not only them, but even Feng Bai was killed. He didn't expect Blood 1 to be so decisive, and the person who killed him was clearly not weak. He looked at Lin Ling who was calm in the face of danger, and was very curious about the power behind her. Would she be attacked by other sects? Throw it out. Blood 9 nodded upon hearing the order. As for Blood 1, he went to the place where Ouyang Yu was sitting before, picked up the sword on the table, and pulled it out. Suddenly, the sound of a sword resonated throughout the restaurant. Good. He slowly walked over to Lin Ling and held his hands in front of Lin Ling Young mistress, this sword is not bad. Why don't you use it first? If there are better ones in the future, you can exchange for them. Okay. He casually took the sword and threw it on the table beside him with a disinterested look. He had seen many artifacts, and this was nothing compared to his own. However, the people around him couldn't remain calm. They knew that this was the Dong sword, one of the divine artifacts. This wastrel. Who knows the power behind this little girl? Oh my God, please keep me. Everyone began to talk, but Lin Ling didn't seem to notice the existence of others and continued to eat the food in front of her. Seeing his young mistress like this, Blood 1 felt very embarrassed. This embarrassment was naturally in his heart, but he was very open on the surface. However, Lin Rei wasn't here. If he was here, he would definitely take the sword in Ouyang Yu's hand and study it carefully. Perhaps he would be able to get some clues in the art of artifact forging. Chapter 1387. Since his miss was like this, Blood 1 couldn't say anything. He turned to Feng Bai and said, "So, are you going to bring out all the dishes and wine?" Feng Bai heard this and turned around. Seeing the coldness in Blood 1's eyes, he subconsciously nodded and said, "Yes, yes, yes. I will complete the mission. I won't go back on my word." The waiter who had been waiting for a long time hurriedly left. Soon, all the dishes were placed in front of Lin Ling Lin Ling was very happy. Finally, Feng Bai asked, "Senior, you just killed someone from the Ouyang family. Aren't you afraid that the Ouyang family will hunt you down?" As the abandoned son of the Ouyang family, he was very clear about the power of the Ouyang family. He didn't think that the person in front of him would kill someone for a table of food. This was the first time in his life that he had seen such courage. HM? Ouyang family? This wasn't the first time he had heard this name, but was the Ouyang family really that powerful? Thinking about this, he looked at Feng Bai and said, "Since that's the case, can you tell me what the strongest person in the Ouyang family is and what kind of status they have in the mystic domain?" He was stunned, dumbfounded, and at a loss. What kind of situation was this? Did he not know about the existence of the Ouyang family? No, he must be pretending. How could anyone not know about the existence of the Ouyang family? Yes, that must be it. Feng Bai thought to himself, but his expression didn't change. He naturally had no reason to not answer Blood One's question. "Senior, the Ouyang family is located in the mystic domain. As for its status in the mystic domain, it is a second-rate family. The strongest person in the family is already at the peak of the late life realm. Moreover, the Ouyang family specializes in the Sword Dao. They live for the Sword Dao. You saw it just now." He pointed at the sword on Lin Linger's table and continued, "That sword came from the Ouyang family. Moreover, the Ouyang family used to be a refiner. I heard that the family also has a sword burial pool and sword washing pool. The opportunities inside are very rich. If one can enter, their cultivation might not skyrocket, but they can still break through a few small realms." However, listening to Feng Bai's explanation of the Ouyang family, the only things he heard were the experts. Peak of the late Earth Saint realm? Thinking about the Saint realm, Blood One, he knew that it would be a bit troublesome. All right, these little brothers. With that, Blood One didn't dare to stay any longer. He hurriedly came before Lin Linger and bowed. "Young miss, we might be in trouble." Lin Linger was in the midst of eating when she heard this, and her hand faltered as she put down her chopsticks. She turned to Blood One and asked, "Is it because the person you just killed has a powerful background?" "Yes, the other party is from the Ouyang clan. There's a peak late Earth Saint expert in the clan." "Yes, got it." Lin Ling felt helpless in her heart. It was just a meal, and yet someone had been killed. This made her feel a little uncomfortable in her heart. Looking at the dishes in front of him and Qing Shuang, he didn't want to leave. If he could, he would stay here for a while. Unfortunately, facing the wrath of an Earth Sage, he couldn't bear it. Even with the protection of the Blood Fiend, he couldn't bear the wrath of an Earth Sage. As such, with a wave of his hand, the table was instantly empty. "Let's go." Without any hesitation, he turned around and disappeared from everyone's sight. Far away in the Ouyang clan of the central continent of the Xian region, a middle-aged man held a dim soul tablet in his hand. His eyes were filled with endless sorrow. Just a moment ago, a subordinate suddenly came to report that Ouyang Yu's soul tablet had been extinguished. This made Ouyang Shuang somewhat unable to bear it. One should know that Ouyang Yu was the child he was most proud of. In the future, she would inherit the Ouyang clan's existence. So how could she? "Go investigate for me. This time, no matter who it is, we must kill them at all costs." With this order, the entire Ouyang clan was shaken. After all, Ouyang Yu, who had always been the face of the Ouyang clan, had been killed. For a moment, the experts of the Ouyang clan rushed into the Xian region and began to madly search for Ouyang Yu. Regarding this, Lin Linger was currently traveling with Xueqi. In the Xian region, the Xuanzong sect was not as peaceful as Lin Linger's place. At this moment, in front of the Xuanzong sect, there was a scene of chaos. "Ant sect, come. Weren't you very arrogant before? Didn't you think that you were invincible? Why are you scared now?" Standing in the air, looking down at the dozens of second and third-rate sects, his eyes were filled with killing intent. At this moment, each of the sects was guarded by a great perfection Earth Saint realm expert. This gave them a surreal feeling. Why did the Yellow Region Earth Saint have so many things to do? Yang Kuan was a little confused. He roughly estimated that there were already 8 of them. How was he supposed to fight back? Although there were more than 10 sects working together, there were only 4 Earth Sages. Furthermore, none of them had reached the Absolute Saint realm. There was no way they could compete. For the sake of survival, for the sake of the sect, he took a step forward, clasped hands and said, "Cultivation base, misunderstanding, misunderstanding." Everyone. Seeing the corner of Yang Kuan's mouth, everyone had a new understanding of him. Back then, he was the one who organized it. Now, he was saying that it was a misunderstanding. Naturally, Ming ignored Yang Kuan's words. He was determined to kill this group of people. As the saying goes, if you cut the weeds without removing the roots, the sound of the spring breeze will be heard. He did not have anything that could threaten the Xuanzong sect. This was a principle that Lin Rei had always understood. Therefore, facing the crowd, Ming snorted coldly. Today, all those who besieged the Xuanzong sect will be obliterated. Sect Master, let Qing Yun lead the disciples to the encampment of these sections. Don't leave a single one alive. Lastly, let the locals know that the Xuanzong sect has taken over. From now on, all the sects here will cease to exist. As soon as these words came out, the crowd became restless. What did this mean? Was he going to obliterate all of them? Taking over? This made them very unhappy, but what could they do? In front of such a powerful cultivator, they could only swallow their anger and do nothing. Otherwise, there would only be one result for them, and that was obliteration. Lin Yun naturally understood after hearing Ming's words. He nodded and said, "Don't worry. Just now, I ordered Qing Yun to lead 10,000 Ultimate Saint Realm disciples. Among them, there are 3,000 half-saints. It's more than enough to deal with those sects." Looking at Lin Yun, everyone felt gratified. For a moment, they thought they saw Lin Rei's figure. All right, since that's the case, let's begin. Let's kill them. No matter what, we have to deal with them. Yes. Yes. The surrounding people quickly responded. Then, they circulated their cultivation base and formed a killing formation in an instant. Although it was not as powerful as the formation plate that Lin Yun gave them, the power of their combined forces was imaginable. Chapter 1388. Bastard, you really want to kill all of us? Aren't you afraid that the sect will be angered? Sensing the murderous aura around him and the terrifying pressure, he had no choice but to admit that the person in front of him really wanted to kill all of them. Did you really send people to our sect just now? If that was really the case, their sect would definitely be damaged. If they died here and these people went to help them, would their sect still be able to survive? Everyone, let's attack together. Otherwise, not only will we die here, even our sect might not be able to survive. As soon as Yang Kuan said that, the other 3 Earth Sage cultivators were speechless. However, they knew that Yang Kuan was right. The few of them nodded. Then, he took a step forward and released his Earth Sage cultivation. In an instant, the pressure that was pressing down on Cheng Shang was reduced by a portion. However, it was still 8 Earth Sage cultivators after all. Moreover, they were all at great perfection realm. It was already enough to reduce their bottom line. In a while, the 4 of us will try our best to hold them back. You guys take advantage of this time to leave and return to the sect. Remember, when you return to the sect, don't come out again, and don't spread this matter. After saying that, the 4 of them rushed out in all directions. They thought that they could do it, but when they actually did it, they realized that it wasn't the case. The 4 of them rushed out in all directions. However, without Great Perfection Realm Sage cultivators, how could they fight against 4 cultivators who were all at the Earth Sage Round Bowl? In the sky, looking at the 4 of them, he instantly understood what they were thinking. A strange smile appeared on his face. You want to help them escape? Do you think you can leave? After saying that, he raised his hand and formed hand seals. A sealing formation appeared around the battlefield. Circulatory Cycle Seal. Go! The Circulatory Cycle Seal formation wasn't a saint-level formation, but it was still a god-level formation. Zhu Tai's formation cultivation was much stronger. What is this? In the distance, Elder Mu and Zhu Tai, who had been watching the battle, were shocked when they saw the Circulatory Cycle Seal formation. Zhu Tai was one of them. In his eyes, this array formation was very mysterious. However, it was nothing in Elder Mu's eyes. What shocked him the most was that this person was actually able to set up such a formation in an instant. One must know that setting up a formation required a formation core. No matter how bad it would still require a formation piece. But now, know this! Taking a closer look, Zhang Xian's eyes widened in shock, as if he had thought of something unbelievable. using one's body as the eye of the formation. If that's really the case, then, looking at the fate scroll, he had the urge to rush up and ask for guidance. However, he understood that now was not the time. Now, the situation at the front was urgent. If he went to the scene, it would probably cause more trouble. In the end, he suppressed the impulse in his heart and obediently stayed where he was. However, things were different for the 4 Earth Saints. They stopped their charge and looked at the barrier around them. Their faces darkened as their hearts sank. This was a little different from what he had imagined. His original plan was to distract them so that Hojin would be in chaos and allow sect leader Na Xian to escape. But now, with such a strong seal around them, not to mention escaping, even they would die here in the end. They raised their heads and stared at the fate scroll who was standing in the air. Their eyes were filled with killing intent, as if they wanted to skin him alive and drink his blood. Looking at the fate scroll, one of them asked again, "Fellow Taoist, do we really have to be so ruthless?" However, the only reply he got was the fate scroll's cold eyes and expression. Ignoring the words, the fate scroll scanned the surroundings and said coldly, "Just kill them. The 4 Earth Saints will stay here. Take out their spiritual dwellings and seal them in the sect for the disciples to cultivate. This is the same for all saints." Hearing the order, Hong Lian and the others nodded their heads, agreeing with the fate scroll's decision. In their opinion, they should just kill these people. This way, they could take revenge and increase the strength of the sect's disciples. However, in the eyes of the crowd, the fate scroll looked like a demon. Is this the same as killing people for their eggs? Bastard, you're going too far. The 4 Earth Saints could not stand it anymore. This is too much. With a roar, they charged in different directions. Humph, dead people should have the awareness of being dead, but you? Sigh. Since that's the case, then, die. Having said that, the killing array was activated. The killing intent in the surroundings became denser and denser. Swords suddenly appeared in all directions, surrounding the disciples of the sect. Kill. The swords contained the cultivation of 7 to 8 Earth Saint Great Perfection Realm cultivators. One could imagine how powerful they were. Whoosh! One of the swords rushed out and arrived in front of a Hierarch Realm cultivator. Before he could react, the sword pierced through his body. With a poochie sound, the disciple died on the spot and his body went limp on the ground. This is a demon. They're all demons. Seeing this scene, the surrounding crowd could no longer remain calm. This was too fast. Not to mention them, even the 4 Earth Sages did not manage to see that sword move clearly. Everyone, prepare your defenses. The 4 Earth Saints understood the power of the swords. If they were hit, they would either die or be seriously injured. However, for those with weaker cultivation, there was no such thing as being injured. There was only death. Kill them. Without any hesitation, the swords rushed out as if they had received the order. One by one, they rushed into the battlefield uncontrollably. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Their speed was so fast that they turned into streams of light and shuttled back and forth in the air. Every time they passed through the crowd, they would take away 1 or 2 lives. In less than a minute, the number of people in the group was reduced. There were only 100 people who were still standing. The rest were lying on the ground, lifeless. Blood was flowing out of their bodies. If the previous scene was a battlefield, then the current scene could be described as hell. Bastards, all of you! Looking at the lifeless disciples lying at their feet, those sect masters were filled with regret. Regret filled their hearts. Why did we listen to Yang Kuan's instigation? Why didn't we lead our disciples to their deaths? Apart from Yang Kuan, the other sect leaders were filled with regret. Only Yang Kuan's eyes were filled with hatred at this moment. Xuanzong sect, are you really going to kill us all? Yang Kuan spoke again. This time, the crowd did not agree. Instead, they took a step back as if they wanted to draw a line between them. Heh, who do you think you are? You. I have the Langya sacred ground behind me. If you dare to kill me, the Langya sacred ground will not let you go. Even your Xuanzong sect will receive retribution. You had better think carefully. Threat. This is a blatant threat. Why don't you take a look at the situation? Langya Sacred Ground? Chapter 1389. Yes. it's the Langya Sacred Ground. I am an inner disciple of the Langya Sacred Ground. If you dare to attack me, the Langya Sacred Ground will not let you and the entire Xuanzong sect off. Seeing that Ming Ming was hesitating, the fear in Yang Kuen's eyes gradually disappeared. What replaced it was an endless phenomenon. It was completely different from before. However, when the crowd saw this scene, they wanted to draw a clear line between themselves and Yang Kuen. But now, they hesitated again. They felt that they had done the right thing. Unfortunately, none of them noticed that there was no fear in the eyes of the surrounding earth saints of the Xuanzong sect. They were just disdainful, as if the Langya Sacred Ground was nothing in their eyes. How is it? Can you let us go now? I can put in a good word for you in the Langya Sacred Ground, as long as you let me and my disciples go. The sect leaders and disciples of the other sects looked at Yang Kuen with gratitude, as if he was their savior. They were very respectful. However, this was nothing in the eyes of Ming Ming and the others. It was just bringing them closer to death. However, Ming Ming was interested. He sat in the air and looked down at Yang Kuen and the others. A hint of panic flashed in his eyes. He said, "You are an inner disciple of the Langya Sacred Ground, but as far as I know, you have violated the rules of the sect." Or you are not an inner disciple of the Langya Sacred Ground. This is just a way for you to survive. This seems like it. There is indeed such a rule in the sect association. Do you think that sect leader Yang Kuen will really? Yes, if that's the case, won't we offend the Xuanzong sect and the Langya Sacred Ground if we continue to follow him? Sigh. That's right, but what can we do? There is no other way now. Yes, now we can only take one step at a time. The crowd's discussion did not stop. All the words fell into the ears of Yang Kuen and Ming Ming. Yang Kuen's face turned pale as he looked at the people around him. He gritted his teeth and looked at them. He wanted to remember all of their faces. After this matter was over, he wanted to get back at them one by one. He wanted to let these fence-sitters know the price of doubting him. In Ming's eyes, this scene was extremely laughable. He was no longer in the mood to continue playing with them. Rising to his feet, he unleashed the full power of an Earth Sage Great Perfection Realm Cultivator. This time, he had no idea what would happen. As for the Langya Sacred Ground that Yang Kuen spoke of, he was certain that as long as Xiefeng returned, the Langya Sacred Ground would be nothing but trash. Are you going back on your word? Feeling the stare of death, Yang Kuen panicked. This was different from what he had imagined. He thought that as long as he brought out his backer, he would definitely be able to leave this place safely. But now, it didn't seem to be the case at all. Going back on my word? Ming laughed. He felt that Yang Kuen was here to make fun of him. But this was no longer important. Kill them. Everyone, let's tell the people of the Yellow Region that our Xuanzong sect is not to be bullied. Our sect leader is not to be humiliated. As for the Langya Sacred Ground, if they dare to offend us, we will destroy their sect. As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. Not only Yang Kuen and the rest, even Old Mu and Zhu Tai who were watching from afar were dumbfounded. They knew that the Langya Sacred Ground was a powerful existence in the Yellow Region. Although it wasn't the absolute ruler, it was still an existence that could make the entire Yellow Region tremble with a stomp of its foot. But now, someone actually dared to do this. Teacher, how arrogant must this person be to say such a thing? Previously, he didn't dare to come out because of a bunch of second-rate and third-rate sections. But now, he's acting like this. His gaze was fixed on Ming as he spoke. This is not something we can interfere with. Moreover, he turned his head and looked at his disciple. He smiled and said, "Are you sure that this person is just talking nonsense? Have you forgotten about the strong opportunity to break through and the powerful devouring power?" Teacher, you mean? He seemed to have thought of something. Sure, let's not interfere in this matter. Let's just watch. As for the Xuanzong sect, that's their problem. Remember, the Formation Guild will not participate in the fight between sections. So, continue to cultivate. After saying that, he turned around and sat down again. Now, the outcome was already decided. With so many Earth Sage Great Perfection Great Circle cultivators, Yang Kuen and the rest would only have one ending: death. Looking at his teacher's back, Zhu Tai pursed his lips. Still not participating? I don't know who it was that posted you in front of the Xuanzong sect. If it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have allowed the Xuanzong sect to grow. Xueqi only said this in his heart. As for his face, he still maintained a smile and his gaze did not leave the scene. As for old Mu's words, he had already forgotten about it. With the order, everyone in the field began to move. The formation was activated. Sword light soared into the sky, aiming at the hundreds of people in the formation and began to kill. This was a massacre that left the other side helpless. Yang Kuan and the rest were like lambs waiting on the chopping board. They could only wait passively and could not take the initiative to attack. Ah! Ah! The blood-curdling screams continued one after another without stopping. This scene completely resounded in the ears of Yang Kuan and the other sect leaders and grand elders. Regarding this, they could only defend against the long swords and soaring sword chi that were rushing towards them. As for helping the disciples of their sects, this was impossible. The formation was activated. Although it was a sword, it was more accurate to say that it was a sword. Brat, the Langya sacred ground will not let you go. You are making a joke of the entire Xuanzong sect. Aren't you afraid that your sect leader will be angry? Yang Kuan threatened. He was unwilling to give up. He wanted to make a final struggle. Oh, is that so? Suddenly, a cold voice rang in everyone's ears. It was a woman's voice. This voice made Yang Kuan and the rest break out in cold sweat. However, when Ming and the rest heard this voice, their faces lit up. Are you sure that the Langya sacred ground can destroy the Xuanzong sect? The voice rang again. At this moment, everyone had found the person who spoke. In the distance, a red figure appeared. It was a woman in red clothes. However, because her face was covered in red sand, her appearance couldn't be seen clearly. However, just her figure alone was enough to prove that this woman was one of the best in the world. Senior Xiefeng, you are back. With Ming taking the lead, the rest of the people bowed to Xiefeng. They were very respectful and did not look as indifferent as before. Yang Kuan and the others also saw this scene. When they looked at the evil phoenix, their pupils shrank. They could sense danger from this person, as if he was a demon from the abyss. Just his aura alone was enough to devour them. You are. Although his obedience was enough to prove her identity, he could not help but ask this question in the face of Xiefeng's terrifying existence. At this moment, everyone present looked at Xiefeng. Not only that, but all the monsters in the entire Chuyuan mountain range felt Xiefeng's arrival. All the monsters prostrated themselves on the ground and kowtowed as if Xiefeng was their king. They were in awe of her. This is an expert. At least, she is stronger than me. Elder Mu had woken up. He looked at Xiefeng and said subconsciously, "Teacher, are you sure?" Zhu Tai could not help but ask as he looked at Elder Mu. He did not expect that his teacher would say such a thing. Others might not know, but he knew very well that his teacher's cultivation was very strong. If that was the case, how strong was this woman's cultivation? Under everyone's gaze, the evil phoenix slowly walked over to Ming and nodded. I didn't expect that you would have reached the great circle of the Earth Saint realm. It seems that you didn't slack off after Linli left. Xiefeng was shocked by the cultivation of Ming and the rest. Although she did not show it on the surface, she was shocked to the extreme. What kind of operation was this? How long had he left? Now, these people were almost catching up to her. Although she did not mind, she was still a little jealous. Senior, you must be joking. Ming smiled. Facing this person, even Lin Rei did not dare to say anything, let alone them. Even if they had the power to ignore the first and second-rate sects in the Yellow region, they still did not dare to be presumptuous in front of Xiefeng. He raised his head and pointed at the people below. Senior, we have no choice but to disturb you this time. This group of people came to attack us. I heard that one of them is an inner disciple of the Langya sacred ground. Look, the Langya sacred ground. Langya sacred ground? Seeing that Ming did not continue, Xiefeng frowned. She had heard of this sacred ground before. However, it did not have a good reputation. Therefore, she was not familiar with this sacred ground. Senior, is there any difficulty? Ming asked again. Previously, he said that he was not afraid. After all, the other party was powerful and he could not say anything. Yang Fan is a coward. It's fine. He's just an inner disciple. Even if you make all the inner disciples in the sacred ground stupid, he won't dare to say anything. Don't worry and do it boldly. Although Lin Rei is not here, with me around, the Xuanzong sect will exist forever. No one can touch it. I said so. Ming Yu's words made her stand clear. Her words made Yang Kuan feel even more hopeless. Just by the fact that Ming Yu addressed the Holy Lord of the Langya sacred ground directly, one could tell who was stronger and who was weaker. Yes, I understand. This time, Ming Yu did not have to worry about the consequences. They began to kill the people below. After all, this was the decision they had made previously. The final massacre began. This time, they did not show any mercy. However, they had to kill those who should be killed so that they could provide energy for the inner disciples of the sacred ground. Throughout the process, Xuefeng watched the massacre with the attitude of a bystander. Her face was calm and there was not the slightest ripple. Time passed quickly. With Ming Yu and the others' cultivation, they could have finished the massacre quickly. However, in order to obtain the energy in their bodies, they spent some time. Xuefeng did not have any opinion about this. On the contrary, she felt sorry for their actions. After all, Lin Rei had always advocated the principle of wasting and shameful things. Below, corpses were everywhere and blood flowed like a river. This time, all the sects that came here were wiped out. The crisis of the sects was finally over. Of course, except for the Langya sacred ground. Swoosh! Suddenly, a scorching heat wave appeared. A flame instantly appeared on the Azura battlefield below. In just an instant, the scene of blood flowing like a river and corpses strewn all over the ground disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by a patch of grass that had just begun to grow. 5 minutes later, the originally bare ground disappeared and was replaced by a lush green lawn. Ming Yu and the others were shocked when they saw this scene. Although they could do the same after becoming sages, compared to Xuefeng's methods, they were obviously inferior. Senior, you have had a long journey. Go in and rest. Ming Yu gestured for her to enter. No need. Xuefeng shook her head and continued. Since you are here, I might as well give you a hand. Senior, you mean? Let's go to those people's sections. Didn't that brat Lin Rei want the Xuanzong sect to make a name for themselves in the holy world? This is such a good opportunity. Of course we have to seize it. Ming Yu understood Xuefeng's meaning. He had the same idea at first, but when he thought of her cultivation and status, he did not bring it up. Now it seemed that he had been rash. If that's the case, let's go. She looked at the sages below and said, You two will be in groups of 2. Go to the other sects and gather with their disciples. Remember, kill without mercy. Take back all the resources of those sects and replenish the sects. Yes. Go. Whoosh. Whoosh. In the next moment, the sages who received the mission left quickly and led the crowd away. Xuefeng led Ming Yu and rushed towards the east. The massacre ended just like that, and the reshuffling of the cards in the yellow region began. After this battle, everyone in the yellow region knew about the existence of the Xuanzong sect. Some people even knew that there were many earth sages in the Xuanzong sect, and there might even be heavenly sages. This was enough to make the Xuanzong sect a first-rate sect in the yellow region, and it could even compete with the Holy Lands. The main reason was Xuefeng's existence. Lin Rei, who was in the underworld, did not know about this situation. He also did not know about the grand occasion that his breakthrough had brought to the Xuanzong sect. At this moment, after he had completely stabilized his cultivation, he walked out of the system. The illusory spirit blood fire had a suppressive effect on heroic souls. Under the control of Lin Rei's earth sage cultivation, the heroic souls and remnant souls that had injured him before were instantly devoured by the illusory spirit blood fire as soon as they came in contact with the illusory spirit blood fire. They were turned into nutrients and became part of the illusory spirit blood fire. At this moment, Lin Rei could clearly feel that the power of the illusory spirit blood fire was increasing continuously, and there seemed to be signs of a breakthrough. System. The illusory spirit blood fire can still break through? Feeling the change in the illusory spirit blood fire, Lin Rei did not leave and asked. This had never happened before. Yes, of course. The system's answer left Lin Rei speechless. After all this time, the illusory spirit blood fire actually had a level. This was the first time he knew about it since he had obtained it. At the same time, he was looking forward to seeing what level the illusory spirit blood fire would reach after its breakthrough. Chapter 1390. After knowing that the illusory spirit blood fire could be upgraded, Lin Rei did not stay any longer and rushed towards the depths of the realm of death. Now, Lin Rei did not want to go deeper for the things in the secret realm. At this moment, he wanted to upgrade the illusory spirit blood fire to the next level. Previously, the system gave a message that the little dragon could absorb a small amount of remnant souls through the illusory spirit blood fire to awaken the soul power. This made Lin Rei even more excited. Facing the little dragon, he felt very guilty. There was not a moment when he did not want to help the little dragon collect heavenly treasures that could awaken the little dragon. This way, being able to awaken the little dragon through the illusory spirit blood fire would undoubtedly help Lin Rei make up for the guilt in his heart. Along the way, Lin Rei collected a lot of heavenly treasures. This made him certain that as long as he refined them into pills and arrays, the cultivation of the Sect's disciples would increase to an unimaginable level. However, the scene of the 10,000 Sect's coming tide would no longer be a dream. Have I reached the end? Lin Rei did not know how long he had been walking. He saw that the original path had disappeared. There was only a dark wall that was very hard, similar to a crystal. Bang! Gathering all the strength in his body, he aimed at the wall. Suddenly, a muffled sound was heard. Lin Rei's body was pushed back a few meters by the rebounding force of the wall. However, the place where Lin Rei attacked previously did not have any traces left. This! Looking at the dark wall, Lin Rei was stunned. Lin Rei did not dare to say that he could recognize everything in the world. However, he had never seen this thing before. Moreover, the hardness of this thing was not inferior to the walls in the system's space. Of course, this was only his opinion. If the system knew that Lin Rei compared the system's space with this dark wall, it would be interesting. Clang clang. Unwilling to give up, Lin Rei used the Chaos Dragon Spear in the end. However, the result was the same as before. There was no effect at all. He did not even leave a white mark. This time, Lin Rei had the urge to vomit blood. Caused trouble. Thinking about the difficulties he had encountered before, and how he had almost died in the face of death, he was unwilling to stop here, and he could not do it. Ding! Yes! A familiar voice appeared in Lin Rei's mind. The originally worried expression on Lin Rei's face was replaced with a puzzled expression. At this moment, there was only one reason for the system to issue a notification. As he thought about it, a smile appeared on his face, and his expression became serious. Ding! Discovered a huge amount of energy that can upgrade the system. Initial estimates suggest that this energy can upgrade the system to the king stage. Host, would you like to absorb it? Ding! A huge amount of energy has been discovered. Does the host agree to undergo a passive upgrade after the energy absorption is complete? Ding! A huge amount of energy has been discovered. The system is upgrading the realm and will be temporarily sealed. No matter what the host encounters during the upgrade process, the host will not receive any help from the system. Does the host wish to upgrade? One system notification after another rang out in Lin Li's mind. He understood what the system was trying to say, but he was determined to upgrade the system. Nothing could delay the upgrade of the system. Previously, he had always thought that the system only had levels 1 to 5. Now that he knew, he naturally had to continue upgrading it. That's right, system. Suddenly, he thought of something and continued. System, you said that the system only had 5 levels. Then there was the king stage. Are there any levels after the king stage? Also, where did you come from? Why did you absorb this energy? How are the cultivation levels divided in your world? Compared to the holy world, which one? Stop, stop, stop. Before Lin Rei could continue, the system stopped him. What the hell are you thinking about? Lin Rei, I told you before that you don't have enough authority. Why can't you remember anything? F***CK. Lin Rei was speechless. The last thing he wanted to hear in his life was that he didn't have enough authority. Ever since he got the system, he had always been told that he didn't have enough authority. This made many things that he wanted to know stop because of this sentence. Host, what you should do now is to increase your own strength and increase the strength of your sect in the future. You have probably forgotten that the system wants you to become the sect leader of a powerful sect. Isn't the reason why this powerful sect is created for you to increase the strength of your sect? Look at the current Xuanzong sect. Previously, it was almost destroyed because of a few second-rate sections. If you didn't increase your cultivation level, those generals would have broken through to the great circle of the Earth Sage realm. Do you think your Xuanzong sect would still exist? Host, don't bite off more than you can chew. Let me remind you that when the system is upgraded to the king stage, your cultivation level will be bound to the system. At that time, the problem of your cultivation level breaking through will be solved. Moreover, when the time comes, the Xuanzong sect will be completely opened and become a real sect in the name of the system. At that time, the sect will be completely bound to the system. All the disciples in the sect who are loyal to the sect will be able to teleport to the host's side at any time. Host, I hope that you can use this opportunity to strengthen the sect completely. At this moment, Lin Rei was overjoyed. Was this considered a disclosure in advance? However, this made Lin Rei understand the meaning of the system's words. In short, the Xuanzong sect was currently very weak and was not enough to become a sect in the name of the system. After the system broke through to the king stage, it would be bound to the Xuanzong sect. As for the teleportation of the disciples of the sect, looking at the dangerous situation where the Grim Reaper could come at any time, he instantly understood the meaning of the system's last sentence. Lin Rei couldn't help but nod. His heart was full of cultivation. Indeed, since the establishment of the sect, he had always been in a state of being a hands-off shopkeeper. He had always been in a state of being in charge of the sect. Thinking of this, Lin Rei felt extremely guilty. I understand. You can upgrade now. This time, this place will become the place where all the disciples of the Xuanzong sect can train and upgrade. This time, the Xuanzong sect will be upgraded to a higher level because of this place. At that time, our Xuanzong sect will have no disciples below the saint stage. His expression was serious, and his words were precious. However, if these words were heard by the people of the Holy World, they would probably gang up on Lin Rei and beat him up. If all the members of a sect were at the Saint realm, would it still be considered an ordinary sect? Moreover, you only think about upgrading. You don't even know if the Tendo of the Holy World will agree to your arrival. Of course, he didn't care about these things, and he wouldn't care. He believed that since the system allowed him to upgrade the realm of the disciples of the sect, it would naturally have a way to deal with the Tendo. Okay, you can continue with your work. The system is about to undergo a closed breakthrough. During this period of time, properly plan the system's attitude towards the Xuanzong sect after the upgrade, as well as the problems of the sect's construction. At that time, the Xuanzong sect will become the true Empyrean Xuanzong sect, and not just a sect with a reputation but no strength. Okay, I should take advantage of this period of time to make arrangements here. When the disciples of the Xuanzong sect arrive, I can't let them have it easy. A smile appeared on his face. If the disciples of the Xuanzong sect were here and saw this smile, they would rather fight with the demonic beasts. They were very clear about this sect leader's character. How could he let you have it easy? He had to put in some effort. After that, the system didn't say anything else. Lin Rei didn't say anything about it. However, at this time, he felt that something was missing. He couldn't pinpoint it, but he felt that something was wrong. Heh, I can only fight by myself in the future. He laughed at himself, turned around, and disappeared into the darkness. Holy World. Chuan Valley. At this moment, the Xuanzong sect of Chuan Valley had a new atmosphere. It was completely different from the decadent and declining appearance from before. At this moment, the disciples of the sect were shuttling back and forth in the sect, as if they were looking for something. Did you find it? No. Damn, then what should we do? This senior Xuefeng is really something. Ever since she came back, she disappeared. We can't find her no matter how hard we try. Where can she go? Who knows? Senior Xuefeng's cultivation is so strong. Why, is the sect leader afraid that she's gone missing? Sigh, isn't that right? It turned out that after returning from the other sects, Xuefeng disappeared from the Xuanzong sect. No matter how hard they tried to find her, they couldn't find her. Even after mobilizing the entire sect's strength, they still couldn't find her. However, at this moment in the underworld, Lin Rei, who was in the death realm, had finished setting up all the formations. At this moment, Lin Rei encountered a problem. Illusion? Lin Rei felt a little helpless. This secret realm had appeared many times, but every time, Lin Rei couldn't bear to dissipate it because he missed Jinling so much that he couldn't bear to dispel it. He wanted to see Jinling more. He couldn't bear to let go just like that. Perhaps it was because of his persistence, but there was no other way. Nothing would hurt him for the rest of his life. You're right. Originally, I didn't want to find my memories and just live here for the rest of my life. But they forced you onto the path of killing again because of some small matter. You were very disappointed. Originally, you wanted to use your actions to integrate with them, but they didn't give you a chance, right? Hearing Old Man Jin's words, Lin Rei couldn't help but nod. He admired him very much. Old Man Jin could see what he was thinking at a glance, but they... Sigh. All of this is because of their ignorance. They don't understand your painstaking efforts. Since that's the case, then let's go along with their wishes as soon as possible. Anyway, you don't feel very comfortable here, do you? Hee hee, Old Man Jin knows me well. You're right. After I woke up, I was very resistant to this feeling in my heart. Later I moved out, but I still couldn't avoid the path I should have taken. Well, sometimes, you don't have to change your path. You just have to let nature take its course. Everything else isn't important. Just be yourself. With that, Old Man Jin stood up and took out the clothes that he had taken off from his body from the wooden box beside him. For a moment, Lin Yu was stunned because the appearance of these clothes was completely different from what Old Man Jin had said. At this moment, Lin Rei saw that it was very extravagant. There was no trace of blood. Instead, it was quite gorgeous. This is the clothes you wore when you fell from a high altitude. At that time, it was indeed stained with blood. However, after listening to it for a few days, the blood on it disappeared bit by bit. Before I knew it, the blood had disappeared. Hearing Old Man Jin's words, Lin Rei nodded and walked out of the door. Old man, you give this to Ling-er. Take it as a gift for taking care of me. Although the gift isn't very expensive, I did put in a lot of effort. Lin Yu stopped at the door and threw the snow fox skin to Old Man Jin. Then he walked out without looking back. Sigh. He's also infatuated. I really don't know if I should let them be together or not. At this moment, Old Man Jin couldn't make up his mind about the snow fox skin in his hand. Cough. Cough cough cough. Grandfather. Just when Old Man Jin couldn't make up his mind, it was as if the heavens had made a decision for him. Come in. It just so happens that I have something to tell you. It just so happens that you're here now. Looking at Jin Ling at the door, Old Man Jin directly sat on the bed. Jin Ling had already arrived in front of Old Man Jin. However, Jin Ling was a little weak at this moment. What's wrong, grandfather? Jin Ling spoke. Her voice was very weak. When she saw the tender look on her face, it really made one's heart ache. Yes, here. Lin Yu just asked me to give this to you. He said that it's a gift for taking care of him. Old Man Jin, who had already made up his mind, took out the snow fox skin and directly handed it to Jin Ling. What? He was here? Hearing her grandfather's words, Jin Ling's body trembled. She wanted to chase outside, but when she thought of the fact that there was still a relative sitting in front of her, Jin Ling finally held back. Sigh. Go after him. Maybe he hasn't gone far yet. Since the heavens have made a decision for you, then I'm just going against the heavens by stopping him. As he spoke, tears fell from Old Man Jin's eyes. However, one of his hands kept chasing Jin Ling out. He didn't want his granddaughter to lose the lover she should have had. Woo. I know, grandfather. After saying that, Jin Ling knelt on the ground and bid farewell to Old Man Jin. She turned around and chased out while shouting Lin Yu's current name. Lin Yu, wait for me. At this moment, Jin Ling didn't look sick at all. She vigorously chased after Lin Yu, who had already gone far away, and kept shouting. When Lin Yu, who was walking in front, heard someone calling her name from behind, she thought it was an illusion. However, when she really heard someone calling her name, and it was the person she had been thinking about, Lin Yu turned her head and saw that Jin Ling was chasing after her with all her might. Ah! Suddenly Jin Ling, who was almost in front of her, was tripped by something. When she was about to fall, Lin Yu's eyes were sharp and his hands were quick. He rushed forward and hugged Jin Ling in his arms. Ling-er, don't be like this. I will protect you. Even if something happens to grandfather, I will protect you for the rest of my life. He couldn't help but reach out to hug her in his arms. Unfortunately, everything was in vain. This was just the environment. Chapter 1391. Sigh. Looking at the hand that passed through Jean Ling's body, Lin Rei's hand stopped. His eyes were filled with sadness. If he had a chance to start over, he would never have let Jean Ling leave him. Of course, the system also said that as long as he reached the peak of Tao, he could go back to the time before Jean Ling died. At that time, Jean Ling might be able to come back to life. Of course, Lin Rei didn't completely believe in this. Who knew if he could really do it? However, at this moment, the illusion didn't disappear. Instead, it appeared more concrete. It was so concrete that Lin Rei felt that it was unreal. At this moment, he was like a third person outside of his body, watching everything that happened in front of him. The girl who walked in saw the boy who had been in a coma for nearly 3 months. He was so shy. The little girl smiled. Her voice was clear and pleasant. Jean Rue couldn't help but be stunned. Brother Rue, what are you shy about? I've been helping you bathe and feeding you medicine for the past 2 months. I'm not afraid. What are you afraid of? Seriously. As she spoke, the girl didn't care whether Lin Rei was wearing clothes or not. Anyway, she had seen what she needed to see. Why would she care about what he looked like now? She didn't care about Lin Rei's current situation and walked over directly. Then, she handed the new clothes to Jean Rue. Brother Rue, try it on and see if it fits. Looking at the clothes, Lin Rei glanced at them from the corner of his eyes. He saw that the girl's fingers were bleeding, but the blood didn't flow to the clothes. Looking at the new clothes, Jean Rue knew that the clothes must have been made by the girl last night. So, thank you for making clothes for me. I still don't know your name. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei didn't say anything. Instead, he silently swore in his heart that he would never let the girl in front of him suffer any harm in the future. Hee. My name is Jean Ling. Grandpa calls me Ling. In the future you can also call me that. After saying that, the girl blushed. Then, she threw the clothes on Jean Rue and ran out. Hee. Looking at Jean Ling who ran out, Jean Rue smiled, then put on his clothes and walked out of the room. The moment he came out, a gust of wind blew over, making Lin Rei, who had been lying in the room for a long time, feel a little uncomfortable. Hey! You must be the outsider who was rescued by old man Jean. At this time, a group of people popped out from the wall and roared at Lin Rei with hostility. Well, if it's just me, I think you're talking about me. What's wrong? Humph. Outsider, I don't know how you came here, but I know that our village doesn't welcome you. Ling doesn't welcome you either. I think you should leave as soon as possible. Otherwise. When they heard Lin Rei admit it, their faces immediately turned cold. Their eyes carried a hint of killing intent as they threatened Lin Rei. Oh, you mean you want to do something to me? But I don't like it when people threaten me, especially you ants. Well, what's going on? Why did I say that? Right at this moment, Lin Li came to his senses. The words he had just said weren't his own words. He had just inadvertently blurted them out upon hearing those people's words. Hee. Ha ha, listen, what did this kid say? He said we're ants? Ha ha. After hearing Jean Rue's words, a group of people burst out laughing. Their laughter was filled with disdain and ridicule. Humph, let me tell you, in Xueqi village, other than me, no one has ever dared to say that to me. If it weren't for Jean Ling's face, I'll tell you you'd be dead today. I'll tell you. Just you wait. I'll be back. After saying that, they seemed to have seen someone. Their faces changed dramatically and they quickly ran away. Seeing them run away, Lin Rei turned his head and saw that Jean Ling had unknowingly appeared behind him. Hee, Ling when did you come? Brother Rue, if they come again in the future, you can call me out. They're all little bullies in the village. They don't do anything good every day. They come out to bully people every day. Basically, all the children in the village have been bullied by them. So when they see a newcomer again, they're eager to bully him. Hearing Jean Ling's words, Lin Rei smiled and didn't say anything. Instead, he walked towards the room. Hey, Brother Rue, what's wrong? Why are you ignoring me? Seeing that Jean Rue didn't say anything after hearing what she said and turned to walk into the room, Jean Ling was stunned for a moment. She thought she had said something wrong. As soon as Jean Rue left, Jean Ling followed him. What's wrong, Brother Rue? Did Ling Er say something wrong? Jean Ling, who walked in, saw Jean Rue sitting on the bed and looking at her with a serious face. Jean Ling was a little scared for a moment. Phew. Ling Er, I want to go out and live alone. I don't want to live in your house all the time. It's inconvenient. Finally, Jean Rue spoke. However, when Jean Ling heard his words, she was stunned on the spot. She stared blankly at Jean Rue, who was sitting on the bed. No one knew what she was thinking. Why? Does Brother Rue think that our family can't afford to raise you? No, since I'm already here and I've lost my memory, I have to plan for the long term. I plan to go out and live alone. This way, I won't be criticized by others, and I won't let others gossip about you. You see, they came here today for you, so I think it's better for me to leave. How can it be? Can the illusion be reversed? Looking at the illusion in front of him, Lin Rei was shocked. Perhaps he didn't know that the illusion was the most realistic part of a person's heart. When he wanted to go back on his words, when he met Jean Ling, he wanted to change. He even wished that he had never met her. This way, he wouldn't be killed by her. If they didn't know each other at that time, then everything that happened in the immortal world wouldn't have happened. Hubby, do you know? Today is the happiest day for me, and I want to share it with you. Oh, what can make you more excited than seeing me? Hearing Lin Yu's teasing, Jean Ling rolled her eyes at Lin Yu and let him experience it himself. I'm pregnant. What? Because Jean Ling's voice was very soft, Lin Yu didn't hear it clearly and asked again. I said I'm pregnant. This time, Lin Rei heard it clearly. When he heard that he had a child, his heart was incomparably excited. Then, he hugged Jean Ling and spun around on the spot. His mouth couldn't stop howling at the sky. Ha! I have a son. I'm going to be a father. I have a son. Looking at the happy expression on her husband's face when he heard that she was pregnant, Jean Ling was very happy. Okay, Ling, I'll give you some food for pregnant women in the next few days. Also, try not to walk around. If you can sit, don't stand. If you can lie down, don't sit. In short, during this period of time, you must eat well and wear warm clothes. Try not to go out. Oh no, don't go out to wait for me, okay? You're not alone now. We have a child now. Seeing her husband so nervous, Jean Ling couldn't help but smile because this was the first time she saw her husband so nervous. All right, lie down for a while. I'll go out first. Don't cook. Although I'm not as good at cooking as you are, before you give birth to the child, I'll take care of everything in the house, including cooking. Lin Rei didn't listen to Jean Ling's rebuttal and walked out. Before he went out, he locked the door and scattered some repellent on the door. This time, Lin Rei went to a place where there were no beasts and not in the mountains. Now that Jean Ling was pregnant, it wouldn't be good for her to live in the mountains. So, Lin Rei prepared to build a house in that place. Just like that, Lin Yu left early and returned late every day. Every time before he went out, he would make a lot of delicious food for Jean Ling and pick some fresh fruits from the surroundings. Just like that, day after day passed. Jean Ling's belly grew bigger day by day. The house that Lin Yu built outside was finally completed today after 5 months. Looking at the house in front of her, which she had spent 5 months building, Lin Yu was quite satisfied. There was a table, chairs, a place to cook, and even a bed. Lin Yu had built a big bed. There were all kinds of fur on it. Ha ha ha, I wonder if Jean Ling will be surprised when she sees this house. Saying that, Lin Yu returned home. After walking for a few kilometers with Jean Ling in his arms, he arrived at the place that he was going to live in. However, along the way, Lin Yu covered Jean Ling's eyes with a piece of cloth, so Jean Ling was completely unaware of the situation. Ling, next, I'm going to show you the place that your husband has worked hard to build for the past few months. I guarantee that you'll like it. Saying that, Lin Yu placed Jean Ling on the ground. After he took off the cloth, Jean Ling's screams echoed far away. Ah, husband, this is the home that you've worked hard to build for the past 5 months? At this moment, Jean Ling was so touched that tears rolled down her cheeks. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu quickly stopped Jean Ling. Linger, you can't cry now. Besides, you can't be too agitated. If not, it won't be good for the fetus. Yes, I know. I just feel sorry for husband. I feel sorry for you for leaving early and returning late every day for the past 5 months. Saying that, Jean Ling snuggled into Lin Yu's embrace and stared at Lin Yu with a doting gaze as though she wasn't willing to shift her gaze away for a moment. Haha, alright. Actually, I found this place long ago. Back then, I wanted you to live here after you got pregnant. I didn't expect it to be so soon. Sigh. I didn't think it through enough. Husband, thank you. I have no other wishes to be your woman in this life. Just like this, Lin Rui brought Jean Ling to live here. Every day, Lin Yu would go out to hunt and return to help Jean Ling cook. However, Jean Ling's habit of waiting for Lin Yu couldn't be changed. If she didn't wait at the door every day, perhaps she would feel uncomfortable all over. A few months later. No, I can't. Husband. It's so painful. Lin Yu thought that Jean Ling wouldn't give birth today, but he didn't expect that she would suddenly say that she was about to give birth. However, there wasn't a midwife by her side. In the end, Lin Yu had no choice but to do it himself. Ling do your best. Do your best. Let's work harder and our child will be born. Let's work harder. At this moment, Lin Yu was heartbroken. He couldn't wait to be the one lying on the bed instead of Jean Ling. He didn't want Jean Ling to suffer like this, but it was impossible. Husband, I'm in so much pain. Husband. Time passed slowly. Finally, under Jean Ling's efforts, the child was born. Wah, wah, wah. In an instant, a baby's cries sounded from the room. At this moment, Jean Ling, who had just given birth, perhaps due to exhaustion. After giving birth, she fell into a deep sleep. Sigh. Ling it's been hard on you. You even gave birth to a son for me. After the child was born, Lin Rui knew that Jean Ling gave birth to a boy. Lin Yu decided to let the child follow his mother's surname. Child, from now on, you shall be called Jean N. As your father, I don't expect you to be successful. As long as you can repay your mother for the pain she went through when she gave birth to you, that will be enough. Lin Rui placed the child on Jean Ling's body and tidied up the mess. In an instant, the room looked brand new. Lin Rui went outside to cook for the sleeping Jean Ling. It wasn't until the next morning that Jean Ling woke up from her deep sleep. However, as soon as she woke up, she wanted to see the child. However, Lin Yu felt that they should eat first. In the end, he couldn't persuade Jean Ling and could only agree. Looking at the child in her arms, the crystallization of love between her and the person she loved, Jean Ling smiled. She smiled very happily. Husband, have you given the child a name yet? Hee, I've already named him. Looking at Jean Ling's expression, Lin Rui couldn't help but say the child's name. I named him Jean N. What? Jean N? No. Husband. How can he take my surname? No, you can't do that. When she heard that her husband had named the child, she resisted for a moment. Although Jean Ling was a little happy after hearing the name, she refused to let Lin Yu use the name no matter what. Stop fighting, Ling I called him Jean N because I saw the pain you went through when you gave birth to him. I want him to remember the pain you went through when you gave birth to him when he grows up. I don't want him to forget how difficult it was for you to give birth to him. So Ling listen to me now. After saying that, Lin Yu took the child over and placed the hot food in front of Jean Ling to let her eat. Husband, why don't you let me see the child again? I still want to see him. And I'm sorry. I didn't protect you well. It's my fault. I deserve to die. I deserve to die. Chapter 1392. Lin Rui couldn't get rid of the illusion because of the system's breakthrough. On the other hand, he didn't have the ability to break through the illusion at all. If the system had been around, it definitely wouldn't have helped Lin Rui. This was because the host had to go through the process of upgrading the system. Even if the system could solve it, it wouldn't have helped. This was a matter of whether the system was strong or weak when it broke through. If the system had helped, the system would have broken through the same level in the end, but the functions would have been greatly reduced. As he watched his son's birth and thought of Jean's death, the guilt in his heart deepened. This was a hurdle that he couldn't get over in his life. It was a pain that would haunt him for the rest of his life. The illusion was still going on. Linley was already numb as he watched. He understood that if he wanted to completely break free from the illusion, he had to make a breakthrough in the system. Only then would he be able to completely break free and leave the illusion. Son, do you hate me very much in your heart now? Finally, the question that he hadn't dared to ask all this time came out of his mouth. However, when he said this, Lin Rei almost suffocated. I don't hate you. I didn't do well enough back then. I put my mother's comfort in such a dangerous situation. If only I had been braver back then, things would have been better. That's why I didn't follow you. You made me realize this. Calm, still very calm. This calmness made Lin Rei feel redundant. It made Lin Rei feel like he wasn't his father, but his master. No, I know you hate me, but you have to know that you are the future young master of the Xuanzong sect. You will inherit my mantle in the future. That's why I have to get rid of all your bad habits and let you know the weight on your shoulders. That's why it doesn't matter if you hate me or not. In short, I don't regret any of this. His innermost thoughts were all revealed at this moment. Since things had already come to this, Lin Rei wasn't afraid. Things would only get worse. Ha! A cold laugh came out of Jinen's mouth, a look of disdain on his face. Lin Li clearly saw this scene. Well, since you don't want to listen, I won't talk nonsense with you. I'm here today to take you out. You've been training here for almost a year. It's time. As he spoke, Lin Rei directly took out the jade that recorded all the basic knowledge and common sense of life and handed it to Jin En as he spoke calmly. Here, stick this between your eyebrows and circulate your spiritual energy to absorb the memories inside. When you're done, let's go out and give your mother a surprise. She's been looking forward to seeing you every day. With that, Lin Rei turned around. Lin Rei knew that Jin En was filled with resentment and didn't want to see him. As for Jin En, when he heard the word mother, his heart warmed, and a childish smile appeared on his face. He looked so innocent. In order to connect to his mother, Jin En was very anxious. He had been closest to his mother since he was young, so he couldn't wait any longer. Looking at the jade in his hand, Jin En sat cross-legged on the ground and stuck the jade between his eyebrows. With the use of spiritual energy, a memory that didn't belong to him suddenly fused with his own. 10 minutes. In just 10 minutes, a large amount of Lin Rei's memories were fused together by Jin En. Who? While playing, Jin En exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and recalled the memories just now. For a moment, he was shocked. Okay, don't think about it. When we get out, you'll have fun. Lin Rei had been paying attention to Jin En's every move. After Jin En accepted everything, he turned around and directly clamped Jin En under his arm. With a thought, he disappeared from the system. When he reappeared, Lin Rei was already in a guest room. At this moment, Jin En, who was clamped under Lin Rei's arm, saw the scene change and immediately broke free from Lin Rei's restraint and jumped down. Isn't it very novel? The memories I just transmitted to you are my understanding of this world and some knowledge of life. Therefore, you probably know that the clothes you're wearing right now aren't suitable for this place. As he spoke, Lin Li retrieved a set of treasured artifacts from his storage ring. Instantly, a golden light flashed, and the dazzling treasured artifacts filled the entire room. Here, put it on. Then, use your spiritual power to transform it according to the appearance of my clothes. Jin En's heart throbbed as he looked at the items in his father's hands. He struggled very hard. In the end, Jin En directly took the treasured equipment from Lin Rei's hands and dripped a drop of blood on it. He immediately put it on and transformed it according to Lin Rei's clothes. His movements were like moving clouds and flowing water. Lin Rei watched Jin En's transformation. When he saw his son wearing a suit, he was very happy. All right, next is your hair. In a while, I will cut your hair, so don't struggle. Lin Rei looked at Jin En, who was very harmonious. Only his hair was very protruding. At this moment, he walked over and used his spiritual power to form a blade above Jin En's head. He started to trim Jin En's hair. This action wasn't approved by Jin En. Of course, Jin En wanted to resist, but when he tried to resist, he realized that his body wasn't listening to him anymore. In the end, he could only stand there obediently and let his father do whatever he wanted to him. Let me tell you, in this family, other than me and your mother, you're a cultivator, and your uncles and aunts, they're all ordinary people. Remember, no matter what happens, Don't tell them anything about the profound heaven continent. Do you understand? Lin Rei couldn't help but remind Jean N. He didn't want to tell Lin Feng and Lin Ro that he was a cultivator at this time. He didn't want to tell anyone else that he was a cultivator. Humph. You're so long-winded. I know. Hurry up and do it. I still want to see my mother. Hearing his father nag at Jean N like this, an impatient look appeared on Jean N's face as he said to Lin Li. Hey, you brat. Although Lin Rei was still a little unhappy when he heard his son say this, he believed that things would get better in the future. After all, he had a very long lifespan. What was there to be afraid of? Time passed little by little. The spirit energy blade in Lin Rei's hand finally dissipated. At this moment, Jean N's appearance had completely changed. There was a young master from ancient times who had turned into a cute young master from modern times. All right, let's go. Let your mother see what you look like now. Seeing that everything was done, Lin Rei was relieved. After collecting the hair on the ground, he pulled Jean N and opened the door to the living room. Wow! I didn't expect the house here to be so beautiful. It's so much better than the houses I've seen before. Hee hee, look at your silly face. What are you so surprised about? This will be your home from now on. Do you see the rooms upstairs? You can live wherever you want. Of course, that's under the condition that no one lives there. Looking at his son's appearance, Lin Rei was very happy. At this time, Lin Rei decided to let Jean N regain the happiness of his childhood. Humph. I'm not surprised. I'm amazed, okay? What's more, other than being gorgeous, it's useless. Also, why do I feel that the spiritual energy here has almost reached the point of being scarce? That one sentence made Lin Li choke on his words. Of course, his colleague felt even more gratified in his heart. Don't worry about that for now. We still have to live here for a while. During this time, you can use your cultivation except when your life is in danger. Otherwise, you can only use your physique. Right now, Lin Li still wasn't at ease, and he once more instructed his son. Aya, you're so long-winded. You've said it countless times since you saw me. Even if you're not annoyed, I'm annoyed. With that, Jean N left Lin Rei's side and walked upstairs. Heh, you brat. Will you die if you don't talk like that? After all, I'm your father, okay? Looking at his son's personality, Lin Rei could only laugh it off. Then, he followed and walked in front of Jean N, leading him to the room where Jean Ling was. At this moment, Jean Ling, who was in the room, was already wearing a white dress. Because of Lin Rei's cultivation, there was no need for cosmetics. Everything was ready, and there was a confident smile on her face. At this moment, Jean Ling was sitting by the bed like a snow-white princess waiting for her prince. Dong dong dong. At this moment, Jean Ling, who was sitting quietly by the bed and waiting for Lin Rei's arrival, heard the knock on the door. A shy expression appeared on her face. Step by step, Jean Ling, who was slowly wearing high heels and a white dress, heard the knock on the door. She walked to the door and held the door handle with one hand. Gotcha! The door was opened from the inside by Jean Ling. Jean N, who was brought in by Lin Rei, was so excited that he revealed himself. Ah! At this moment, a scream came from Jean Ling, who opened the door. Her voice was high and sharp, catching Lin Rei, who was originally unprepared, off guard. Is that you? At this moment, Jean Ling thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her. She quickly squatted down and held Jean N's hand. Tears flowed out of her eyes at this moment. Yes, mother, I'm out. Sob, sob, sob. At this moment, both of them were sure that they were not dreaming. They hugged each other and cried. Their cries became louder and louder. This made Lin Rei, who was next to them, suddenly feel that it was he who did not allow their family to meet. He seemed to be the most detestable person. Sigh. He sighed and left the place. He went downstairs, took out the flowered yao wine, and drank it. Maybe I really did something wrong, but I don't regret what I've done. Lin Rei had been questioning in his heart whether his decision back then was right or wrong. But in the end, Lin Rei did not conclude. He only knew that he did not regret what he did. At this moment, Jean Ling and Jean N were no longer crying. Instead, they returned to the room and began to show concern. Son, you've suffered in the past year. Looking at her son who had been separated from her for a year, Jinling could not help but feel sad. Tears welled up in her eyes as she spoke in a trembling voice. "It's okay, mother. Look, now your son has the ability to protect you and not let you get hurt." Hearing Jinling's words, Jin quickly shook his head desperately. Then, he showed his muscles that he had gained in the past year to his mother. Hee, I knew it. My son is the best, the strongest. In the future, my comfort will depend on you. Looking at her son rubbing his fists, the warmth in her heart rose and she could not help but laugh. "Son, in fact, your father had his reasons for doing this back then. After all, he only had one son. He did this only to make you more outstanding and more qualified to inherit everything he had. So don't hate him. It's not easy for your father either." Jinling could see that her son already hated Lin Rei, but this was not what she wanted to see. "I know, but I can't get over this hurdle. When I left alone, I met my father. When he found out what had happened, I could feel that my father wanted to kill me at that time. Later, he threw me into the dark unit for training. In this year, he didn't even visit me once. I can't get over this hurdle. I can't get over this hurdle." At this moment, hearing his mother's words, Jin understood very well. However, the hurdle left behind back then could not be resolved overnight. "Well, it's good that you know. Your father loves us very much. For us, he can disregard his life. So, I hope that you can treat your father better. Although we cultivators have a long life, your father is also very tired. Well, the burden on his body is very heavy." After speaking, Jinling said a few words of concern to Jin. Then, she pulled Jin out of the room and went downstairs. She happened to see Lin Rei, who had already drunk a lot of wine. "Hubby, why?" Seeing her husband drinking alone, she wanted to go up the mountain to stop him. However, after seeing his expression, Jinling's hand that was holding the wine bottle froze. "All right, if you don't let me drink, then I won't drink." Seeing Jinling's appearance, Lin Rei understood. The guilt on his face instantly disappeared. The next moment, a smiling face appeared. "Let's go. There's nothing at home that Jin can use. Since it's still early, let's go to the mall to buy him some daily necessities and a few sets of clothes. Then, our family will go to the class reunion." "Ling, tell me, did I really do something wrong back then?" Looking at his wife in front of him, Lin Rei said with a gloomy expression. Back then, he cared too much about Jinling, so much so that when he saw his son escaping alone, he had the intention to kill him. But now that he thought about it, it was actually right. After all, Jin was only 4 or 5 years old back then. How could such a child not be afraid when facing such a huge monster? But, at that time, he didn't think about this at all. He directly sent him to the dark department for training. In the dark department, it was very cruel. Moreover, he didn't even look at Jin at that time. "Sigh. Maybe I was wrong. But I wanted him to become stronger so that he could protect himself. If one day I'm not around, he can face it alone." "Husband," Jinling's voice sounded. Suddenly, Lin Rei woke up from his memories. He raised his head and saw Jinling and the Lin Rei in the illusion walking side by side. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was empty, and the corners of his mouth curled into a bitter smile. So it's an illusion again. I didn't expect that this time, I would be so immersed in it that I couldn't extricate myself. Chapter 1393. After that, there were several different scenes in the illusion, and they were all things that he had experienced before. There was killing, love, kinship, endless cold eyes, and even the onlookers pointing at him. All kinds of things gave him a new baptism. After this time, Lin Rei felt that his state of mind had improved greatly. If it was Qing Tsong before, then his state of mind now was the entire firmament. However, the most important thing was undoubtedly the obsession in his heart. It was an obsession that wanted to redeem what he had lost in the past. An obsession that wanted to return to the past to make up for his regrets. Unfortunately, in the system space, Lin Rei stood quietly on the spot, looking at everything in front of him with lifeless eyes. In the entire system space, only he could feel that he was in an illusion. The Scarlet Flame Tiger and the others could only see Lin Rei standing there in a daze. As for what Lin Rei had experienced, they did not understand and were not clear. However, Lin Rei did not know how much time had passed. Gradually, the illusion seemed to have come to an end. In the end, the illusion ended, and the last scene he saw was the scene of Jean Ling and Jean En standing together, smiling and waving goodbye to him. Looking at the smile on his wife's face, Lin Rei felt that it was difficult to breathe. His body began to tremble uncontrollably. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes and slid down his cheeks. He sank into sorrow. In the Death Realm, 30 years passed quickly. On this day, in the system space, the illusion in front of Lin Rei completely disappeared. His eyes were clear, and the system returned to the scene. Looking at the familiar scene in front of him, he took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with deep disappointment, but at the same time, there was a pleasant surprise in the disappointment. He understood that the illusion had ended, and the system was about to level up. Ding! As expected, just as Lin Rei was thinking, the system notification sounded in Lin Rei's mind. "It's here," he muttered. With a thought, his body appeared at the edge of the Death Realm. The dark barrier in front of him disappeared, and in its place was an entrance that looked like a whirlpool space. "Is this the entrance to the next place in the Dragon Spring Secret Realm?" As he said that, a smile appeared on his face. However, when he thought about the treasures of heaven and earth in the next mystery realm, he also thought about the dangers in the next mystery realm. The Death Realm was only the first layer of the Dragon Spring Mystery Realm, and it was also the weakest layer. As such, there was a danger that he would not be able to return. He did not know what the next layer would be, nor was he clear about it. However, he understood that he was destined to go to this place. As for when he would go, that was not certain. After all, if he was not strong enough to pass through safely, he would not take the risk of running a short distance. Ding! System upgrade complete. Ding! The system has left the rookie stage and entered the novice stage. Host, are you ready? Lin Rei. He rolled his eyes. According to the system's words, he was only in the newbie realm just now. Now, he had truly entered the newbie realm. If that was the case, then in the eyes of the system, wouldn't the Saint stage be equivalent to a newbie? When the president saw the pressure that the little dragon had displayed back then, he could not determine how strong the little dragon was. After all, he was very clear about the battle prowess of the little dragon. Ding! The system has officially entered the King Realm. From now on, the host has many choices. At the same time, because the system has broken through to the King Realm, many functions have been unlocked. Host, please check them out. Ding! Because the system has just advanced to the King Realm, there is a rule that the host must pay all the debts owed by today. Otherwise, the system will directly erase the host. Host, please be prepared. What? Lin Rei was dumbfounded. He was very clear about how much money he owed the system. If he paid it all today, then, wouldn't he be bankrupt? System, you see, we are old acquaintances. Can you give me a discount or something? Even if you don't give me a discount, at least give me some time. As he spoke, Lin Rei could not help but shed 2 drops of tears. His aggrieved look made one's hair stand on end. How about this 1 month? No, 1 year. Just 1 year. Within 1 year, I will definitely pay it all. Ding, ding, found the person who owes the debt. The system is about to activate the self-destruct program. Host, please wait for the arrival of death. Lin Rei was speechless. Lin Li didn't want to say any more. This was basically forcing him to commit a crime. This was more than 600 million. This wasn't a small sum. 10 or 20 million. This was 600 million. How the hell was he supposed to? Ding, the system has made a clear estimate of the host's assets. Well, this was done long ago. After struggling for so long, he was still a fool. Thinking about this, he smiled bitterly and waved his hand. Say it. How much can I pay off your debt? The system smiled. It was fine as long as he paid the money. Then the system did not waste any more words and directly said, the host is now rich in assets. As long as you mortgage 2/3 of the heavenly treasures obtained in the Death Realm to the pawnshop, not only will the host's debt be paid off, but you will also receive a very rich asset. Of course, as the host's one-time payment, the system will give the host 5 additional chances to draw the lottery and 1 quota to unlock special privileges. Oh, special privileges. Lin Rei, who had lost 2/3 of his assets, suddenly became interested when he heard this reward. Ding, special privileges. Sword pool. Those who enter the sword pool can condense the heart of sword Dao. Hint. A heart of sword Dao that will never be broken. At the same time, it can increase one's cultivation by 1 level. A person can only enter once in their lifetime. Array Pavilion. Condense the heart of array and increase one's talent in array formations. It allows one to quickly become a famous array master. Similarly, a person can only enter once in their lifetime. Pill Pool. The fire of pill refinement. It is the purest flame in the world. It can increase the speed and quality of pill refinement. It can also analyze the composition of pills. A person can only enter once in their lifetime. Talisman. Obtain the inheritance of Talisman Dao and inherit the meaning of talisman. A person can only enter once in their lifetime. Cultivation techniques, combat techniques, footwork, spells, and so on. Everything that you can't imagine is here. Of course, among the many, you can only activate one. You must think carefully, otherwise, it will be too late to regret. Ding! The host's information board has been upgraded. Name, Lin Ray Cultivation, peak of the initial stage of Earth Sage Spiritual Root. King Grade, all 5 elements are complete. Aptitude, King Grade Weapon, Chaos Dragon Spear, Dao Artifact, Cultivation Technique. Chaos Heavenly Scripture, Level 6 Incomplete, Array, 3rd Grade Saint Grade Pill Refinement. 2nd Grade Saint Grade Weapon Refinement, 3rd Grade Saint Grade Talisman, 1st Grade Saint Grade Battle Pet. Half Saint Redemption Points. Minus 646,300,000 number of lottery draws. 0 assets. Pending. Verification Sect. 1st Grade Sect, a newbie. Forget it. The host can barely be considered as the sect leader of a 1st Grade Sect. Mission. Develop the sect into the number 1 Saint Grade Sect and complete the pilgrimage of 10,000 sects. Chapter 1394. System. Can you explain to me what a rookie is? What do you mean by barely being the sect leader of a 1st Grade Sect? Also, what is the level of a 1st Grade Sect? Why have my array formation, alchemy, and weapon forging been upgraded by a level? Why don't I know about this? As he looked at his own information panel, Linley felt an urge to beat someone up. This was especially true when he was evaluated as a rookie who could barely qualify as a sect master of a 1st Grade Sect. This made his urge to beat someone up even stronger. However, the system did not explain this. Instead, it continued to explain the functions of the system after the upgrade. That was your information panel just now. Now, it is the system panel. This is very different from before. In the system panel, in addition to the Hongmeng Martial Arts Field, Sutra Depository, Time Cultivation Area, Pawn Shop, Cultivation Pagoda, and Trial Pagoda, there was now a sect teleportation function. As long as one had enough redemption points, they could teleport at will. In addition, the system store was refreshed because of the upgrade. The upper items inside were refreshed and the host could check them later. The lottery system had also been greatly upgraded and the prizes were refreshed. This would be more interesting. At the same time, due to the upgrade of the system, there was an additional sect store. What sect store? Hearing this, Lin Ray could not help but interrupt. The upgrade of the system had changed many things. Among them, the things used in the sect were the most important. The sect store means that only people in the sect can use it. Of course, other than the host, the sect leader. In addition to the sect store, there was a sect master's exclusive store and an ordinary store. In the sect store, as long as the sect disciples had enough task points to exchange for the items in the system, the host could exchange for them and then transfer them to the sect disciples. Task points was another new function of the system. The task issuer would have various tasks for the sect disciples to accept and earn task points at once. In this way, in the sect master's exclusive store, the sect tasks would also be given to the host. After the host obtained task points, he could exchange for items in the sect master's exclusive store. In the sect master's exclusive store, all the goods were carefully selected to make the host a powerful sect leader. Damn, is it so big this time? Listening to the system introducing the new functions one by one, Lin Ray felt that the system had changed. There was a big reshuffle, which he was not used to. Host, you have to remember that you will always be the sect leader of a sect. You can't change this. Similarly, you can't change this. Because this is the purpose of this system appearing in you. It is to train you to become the sect leader of a powerful sect and a sect. In response, Lin Rei nodded. He understood that after all these years, he still hadn't cared enough about the sect. Alright, let's talk about this later. Right now, the most important thing is still your problem. Lin Rei was stunned. He didn't understand. Exchange points. Seeing the confused look on Lin Rei's face, he quickly reminded him. He wanted to reject the mission, but when he thought of the punishment for not completing the mission given by the system, he swallowed his words. As the saying goes, a lack of forbearance in small matters will spoil great plans. He was not such a foolish person. Besides, resources were meant to be exchanged. Thinking of this, he endured the pain, clutched his chest, and nodded heavily. He sighed and said, "Give it to me. Hurry. Hurry up." Ding. Collecting the collateral owed by the host. Please wait a moment. Ding. Estimating the value of the collateral. Please wait a moment. One system notification after another rang out, causing Linley's heart to ache even more. He had risked his life in order to acquire all of that wealth. Now, with a single sentence, the system was taking away 2/3 of it. How could he possibly accept this? Ding. Valuation complete. 2/3 of the host's treasures have been taken away. Estimated value: 813 million. Ding. As the host owes the system more than 600 million, after repayment, there is still 170 million left. Host, do you want to repay? Lin Rei. What's the point of asking these questions? I have already exchanged them. Do you think I should return them or not? He was completely speechless towards the system. Wasn't this nonsense? Really, just thinking about it made his heart ache. Ding. Repayment. Please confirm? Confirm. Ding. The host has fully repaid the debt. The reward is an unparalleled lucky draw opportunity. One chance to unlock a special privilege. Host, please seize it. After that, the system's voice disappeared, leaving Lin Rei alone. He hid in a corner, secretly wiping away his tears. He was completely unwell. He thought about his money and the treasures he had just lost. I will never ask the host for credit again. This is really a big loss. Although he thought so, he would not be soft-hearted when it came to credit in the future. After all, who didn't have a headache and fever at times, right? After a long time, Lin Rei recovered from his heartache. He stood up and thought about the lucky draw opportunity he had just received. Lin Rei's heart burned with passion. He had almost recovered what he had lost previously. As for the special privilege, he did not intend to use it now. That thing was a good thing. Moreover, he had not thought about it yet, so... System, I want to draw a prize. Ding. Okay, the lucky draw system will begin immediately. Please wait for a moment. Clang. A loud sound came from the side. Suddenly, a huge roulette-like object fell from the sky and landed beside Lin Rei. F***CK. When he turned around and saw the roulette wheel, Lin Rei was helpless. Damn it, after all this time, this was the refreshed lucky draw system. Looking at the way it appeared, Lin Rei still felt that the previous one was quite good. Looking down, he saw a huge roulette wheel lying flat on the ground. On it, 6 types of items were clearly separated. TSK, this doesn't seem to have changed much from before. Looking at the roulette wheel, Lin Rei was somewhat speechless. The original lucky draw system was like this, and now it was still the same. This made Lin Rei somewhat disappointed. After all, the higher the expectation, the greater the disappointment. Host, don't jump to conclusions so early. Just because you didn't see it, it doesn't mean that you really understand it. How can you prove that there is nothing good in it? This thing is not as good as the previous one? Seeing the system come out to explain, Lin Rei did not want to say anything more. He knew that he could not win against the system. In the end, he could only nod. Okay. Since that is the case, I will draw once to prove that what you said is true. Humph. I guarantee that you will not be disappointed. Don't worry. The system snorted and did not say anything else. Lin Rei was not convinced and looked at the roulette wheel again. In the end, he was helpless. Begin the lucky draw. Chapter 1395. Rumble. Kacha. Kacha. A sound similar to that of a rusty clock starting to turn once more rang out in Linley's ears. The entire lottery pool was filled with this sound. It was ear-piercing and uncomfortable. However, at this moment, Lin Ray did not care about this at all. His eyes were fixed on the lottery wheel, and he did not dare to look away. It was as if he was afraid that the wheel would disappear if he looked away. His heart was in a panic. Give me something special. How about a combat technique? Even if that's not enough, give me some medicinal pills. Lin Ray's eyes were fixed on the wheel. The only place on the wheel that he did not want the needle to land on, and he prayed endlessly in his heart. Lin Ray's eyes landed on a blank space. On it was written, "Thank you for your patronage." Looking at these 4 big words, Lin Ray felt helpless. Although the system had upgraded, but... System, can you tell me what this thing is for? Pointing at the 4 big words, Lin Ray's heart was filled with endless emotions. Why did it have to be this thing that came out of nowhere? Did it not know that the lottery opportunity was rare? Thank you for your patronage? You are really interesting. Ding. Discovered that the host has doubts about the system. Because of the offense, the system will not punish you. If there is a next time, lightning will serve you. Oh right, the host should not have any wishful thinking. The system's lightning is stronger than all the lightning in the holy world. As for whether you can withstand the lightning, it will depend on the will of the heavens. Lin Ray. Shut up. On other things the system might lie, but on the matter of punishment, it would definitely not lie. If it said that there was a lightning technique, then there was definitely a lightning technique. Moreover, this lightning technique was very likely something that he could not withstand. Although he was unhappy with the threat of the system, what could he do? Who asked the system to be so awesome? Ding. F***CK. Just as he was thinking about the lightning technique mentioned by the system, a sound suddenly rang in his ears. Suddenly, Lin Ray came back to his senses and looked back. His gaze locked onto the spot where the needle of the wheel had landed. Suddenly, his entire body froze on the spot. His expression froze. He allowed his body to move in the wind without the slightest reaction. Ding! Host, this is your first lucky draw. Thank you for your patronage. Ding! Host, don't give up on your future lottery chances just because of a single failure. Remember, this failure doesn't mean anything. There are still 4 more chances, and there will be at least 1 chance where you will be able to draw an item that you like. Host, keep up the good work. The system believes in the host's luck. Lin Ray had the urge to curse at someone. After leveling up, it was his first lottery draw, and he had actually drawn a "thank you for your patronage." He was filled with joy, but in the end, what he received in exchange was an unexpected ending. This was even more unbearable than having Lin Ray eat a dozen flies. Was he trying to stir up trouble? Host, keep up the good work. Don't worry, there are still 4 more chances. Although this system admits that your luck is amazing, this thing is after all an anomaly. Keep up the good work. Failure is the mother of success. I believe that next time, you will definitely be able to get what you want. Believe in yourself. Believe in your luck and destiny. Believe in yourself and you will have eternal life. Don't be discouraged. As soon as these words came out, Lin Ray, who had originally resisted the urge to beat someone up, began to stir again. System, can I ask you to shut your mouth now? Because of the first warning, he didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Who knew if he would be stabbed by the system because of his words? As the saying goes, anything is possible. With the system's nature, it would definitely stab him in the back and let him experience how terrifying the system's lightning punishment was. Ding! The system will try its best to fulfill the host's request. In the next moment, the system didn't say anything. Regarding this, Lin Ray lost a breath. His originally impetuous heart regained its calm. F***CK, I really don't want anything, but you just have to give me something. Damn it, you're deliberately disgusting, aren't you? However, thinking about it was just thinking about it. He still had to draw the lottery. He didn't believe that he would be so unlucky next time. Draw the lottery. Rumble. Gotcha, gotcha. Once again, the lottery wheel began to spin. The entire space was once again filled with that ear-piercing and extremely uncomfortable sound. This time, Lin Rei heard it, but he didn't have much of a reaction. At this moment, he was wholeheartedly focused on the lottery. This time, he didn't believe that he would be so unlucky. Gotcha, gotcha. The needle continued to spin. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart wasn't rising and falling. It was rising and falling like raging waves, continuous and unending. He felt as if he had returned to planet Aqua Blue and was on a roller coaster ride. His entire spirit was extremely tense. Extreme sky. This is it. Ding. Looking at the extreme sky. However, just as Lin Rei was filled with anticipation, the needle inhumanely skipped by. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart collapsed. However, immediately, the needle slowly fell on the 9-dragon hoop. Once again, Lin Rei's hope was reignited. His eyes were filled with the flames of desire. This was a feeling he had never felt before. He was filled with anticipation. However, the modern world had once again abandoned Lin Rei, making him feel helpless. F***ck. Once again, the needle skipped by. Just like this, after a few times, Lin Rei completely collapsed. The needle once again fell on the "Thank you for your patronage." This time, the needle didn't skip by as Lin Rei expected. Just like this, it stopped at the space he didn't want to stop at the most. Ding. The familiar sound appeared again. This sound was more ear-piercing than any other sound. F***ck. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You are the most unlucky person in history. You have drawn the "Thank you for your patronage" twice. The host can go buy a lottery ticket now. Lin Rei didn't take it. He looked at the wheel again and again. Just like this for times past. 4 times, he didn't get anything. Every time, the needle inhumanely fell on the "Thank you for your patronage" when Lin Rei hoped for it the most. After 4 tries, Lin Li no longer held any hope for the prize wheel. It could be said that this was the first time Lin Li had ever felt so hopeless about something in the system. One last time. Looking at the wheel, Lin Rei gritted his teeth. One last time. If there's nothing, this daddy will smash you. After speaking, the wheel of fortune once more began to spin. This time, Lin Li didn't pay any attention to him. He let him fend for himself. After all, this was his last chance. Success or failure, as the system had said, was up to the will of the heavens. Chapter 1396. Ding, ding, ding. The sound rang out again. This time, Lin Rei ignored it. He just stared at it without a ripple in his heart. To be more precise, he no longer had the slightest bit of expectation. That was because he knew that the higher the expectation, the greater the disappointment. Rather than that, it was better to leave him alone. Whether he succeeded or not, it would be up to the will of the heavens. As time passed, the speed of the needle became slower and slower. It slowly moved past the grids on the turntable. Cultivation techniques, combat techniques, spells, heavenly treasures, array discs, elixirs. Lin Rei skipped past them one by one without a ripple in his heart. At this moment, his heart was no longer here. He calmed down and pondered. Who should he summon from the Xuanzong sect? Who should he make stronger? Or whether the summoning would succeed? Would there be any danger? What would happen if he summoned someone else? But at this moment, a blurry figure slowly began to appear in Lin Li's mind, slowly revealing its original appearance. Lin Yun. That's right. The figure that appeared in Lin Rei's heart was his second son, Lin Yun, who needed a father's love since he was young. Yuner, although I didn't want you to come, as the acting sect leader of the Xuanzong sect, you have this responsibility. As my son, you have to bear this responsibility. So, as your father, I'm sorry. Ding. Just as Lin Rei made up his mind, a familiar sound rang in his ears. He opened his eyes and looked at the spot where the needle stopped. Suddenly, Lin Rei took a step forward. His face moved closer to the turntable and appeared in front of the table where the needle stopped. No way. Looking at the table, Lin Rei rubbed his eyes hard. It felt unreal. He suddenly felt happy. I lost it? No way. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You finally won the suicide pill in the last of the 5 lucky draws. What? Lin Rei knew that the needle stopped at the elixir section. However, there was no indication of what elixir it was. Now that he heard the name of the elixir, Lin Rei was puzzled. Suicide pill? F***CK. This can't be what I think, right? It's exactly what you think. The system's voice appeared. Lin Rei was stunned. A necessary medicine for killing and robbing? That's right. Killing people and robbing them is a necessary medicine, the system said. Ding. The decisive pill is concocted from 1,600 poisonous herbs. It contains deadly poison and is extremely terrifying. According to the system's estimation, if one were to consume the host's suicide pill, they would definitely die. Hiss. Listening to the system's explanation, Lin Rei could not help but gasp, his face full of astonishment. He was well aware of how terrifying this realm was. Didn't that mean that Tao integration saints would also die from the poison if they ate the suicide pill? That's right, system. Is there an antidote for this suicide pill? Or, can the antidote be concocted? This question was very important. If he needed it in the future, and the other party happened to have the antidote, then he would be dead. No. The system didn't even think about it and directly replied. Lin Rei let out a sigh of relief. But, Lin Rei. His originally relaxed heart tensed up again. But what? I say, system, can you say it all at once? If you do this, I'm very... Don't worry. The system interrupted Lin Rei and continued. Although there is no antidote, there are some cultivation techniques that can temporarily suppress this pill. Of course, even if it is suppressed, the other party's cultivation level will be reduced to nothing because of the existence of the pill, just like an ordinary person. The person who consumed the pill will use cultivation techniques to suppress it and will not be able to do anything. As long as the other party uses cultivation techniques, the poison will immediately enter the other party's internal organs. In just 3 breaths, the other party will die from the poison and die an unnatural death. That's good, that's good. Hearing this explanation, Lin Rei was relieved. Although this pill could not increase one's cultivation level and could not be treated, but the power of this pill was not to be underestimated. Because of this, Lin Li didn't dare to touch the suicide pill. After all, this pill was extremely poisonous. Who knew if he would be in danger if he touched it? Don't worry, do it. Just as Lin Rei was carefully testing it, the system's voice suddenly sounded, causing Lin Rei to tremble. This pill belongs to the host, so it has an immunity effect on the host. So, even if you eat it, this pill will have no effect on you. You! He stretched out his hand and grabbed the suicide pill. He was embarrassed to the extreme. His gaze fell on the suicide pill in his hand, and he was filled with nervousness. He really wanted to try the effects of this pill, but, thinking of the unknown future, he suppressed this impulse. Forget it, I'll keep it. When I encounter danger in the future, or thinking of how Tian and the heavenly court where he grew up, he really wanted to use the suicide pill on how Tian and the entire heavenly court. Yes, as long as you put the suicide pill in the water they use, the suicide pill will release poisonous gas into the air and be absorbed by them. This way, it will have the original effect of the suicide pill. Damn, so awesome! Lin Rei looked at the pill in his hand in disbelief. This kind of thing, if used well, would definitely be a great life-saving measure in the future. Thinking of this, he clenched his hand and held it tightly. At this moment, he seemed to see himself using the suicide pill to kill everything. A bloodthirsty smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and it was extremely terrifying. Okay, the lottery is over. Next, should we teleport the people of the Xuanzong sect? The system's voice sounded again, pulling Lin Rei back to reality. Ah, okay. Lin Rei calmed himself down and looked up. His eyes were filled with complicated emotions. He opened his red lips and said, "My son Lin Yun. Let's teleport him first." Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Lin Rei nodded. His eyes were filled with certainty. This time, he was serious. His son was the best choice. If he succeeded, he would get a lot of benefits here. If not, He would do everything he could to save his son's life. He would even trade his life for his son's. Seeing Lin Rei's determination, the system didn't say anything else. Okay, since that's the case, let's start. This teleportation requires 10 million exchange points. Oh, 10 million. What? 10 million? Linley came back to his senses and began to panic. If one person was worth 10 million, then if he were to summon the entire profound sect, then the amount of exchange points he had wouldn't be enough. Lin Yun's cultivation is strong, and he's the acting sect master. So the fee will naturally be much higher. Of course, if you don't want to, then just teleport anyone over. Your Xuanzong sect's ordinary disciple costs 500,000 each. You decide. This time the system gave Lin Rei the choice. Chapter 1397. Let's do it. There's nothing to think about. Yuner needs this opportunity, and it had been so many years since he left the Xuanzong sect. He wanted to see how his son was doing. All right, let's begin. Ding! Sect teleportation commencing. Location teleportation activated. Ding! Teleportation target is Lin Yun. 10 million exchange points have been spent. Please check. Ding! Teleportation in progress. Host, please. Notifications rang out one after another, causing Linley's heart to ache. Especially when the 10 million was deducted in an instant, it was as though someone had used a knife to stab at his heart, slicing it open again and again. It was extremely painful. In the main hall of the Xian sect in Chu Yuan Valley, Lin Yun was busy collecting the heavenly resources, cultivation methods, battle techniques, and other items from the various sections. Hong Lian and the others were also organizing. They had destroyed a lot of sects this time. Lin Yun didn't expect that those sects would have such a terrifying foundation. They might not be first-rate sects, but compared to the Xuanzong sect, they were like heaven and earth. Lin Yun looked at the items on the list in front of him with excitement. With these things, the strength of the sect's disciples will increase by a level. At that time, the disciples won't have to fear anyone even if they encounter a situation like that again. Lin Yun sighed. After taking over the Xuanzong sect for so many years, the disciples' cultivation was still stuck at the same level when Lin Rei left. Although they had made some progress, the speed of their growth wasn't great. Sect leader, this time, even though we've gotten a lot of things, but... Ming Ming opened his mouth and said earnestly, those sects have all registered with the Sect Alliance. We've brazenly destroyed more than a dozen sections. Will they take action and avenge them? Yeah, Sect Master. If that's the case, then even if our sect has a cultivator in the Great Perfection Earth Sage realm, it won't be of any help. I agree with Hong Lian and the others. At this moment, Ying's voice came from afar, and the next moment, he appeared in front of the main palace. Lin Yun hurriedly stood up and bowed to Shadow. Although he was the sect master here, Shadow was his father's woman. She was also his second mother. So, etiquette couldn't be ignored. Sect master. Ying returned the greeting and said, just now, Hong Lian and Ming's words, we have to be careful. To them we're outsiders. They won't let us off so easily after killing their people. Alas! Looking at the crowd below, Lin Yun couldn't help sighing. How could he not know? But so what? Attack. What a joke. With the current strength of the Xuanzong sect, how could it possibly fight against the alliance of sects? If Xuefeng was here, perhaps they wouldn't have to consider this problem. But now, the most important problem was that Xuefeng wasn't in the Xuanzong sect. They didn't know where she was, so everything depended on them. But what Lin Yun didn't know was that while he was thinking, an invisible energy appeared around him. Then does anyone? Whoosh! Just as Lin Yun was about to ask if anyone had any objections, he suddenly disappeared from the main palace. Sect Master. Lin Yun disappeared, and a terrifying aura burst out from the crowd below. They instantly appeared in front of the Sect Master. Everyone took out their consciousness, and they could clearly sense everything within a million miles. But how could this be? There was no trace of Lin Yun's aura within a million miles. The only thing that had Lin Yun's aura was the praying mat that Lin Yun often sat on. What's going on? Is there a powerhouse? Ying asked, her eyes filled with worry. She had long regarded Lin Yun as her own child. Moreover, Lin Yun was deeply loved by her husband. If anything happened to him, she wouldn't be able to explain it. Looking at Ying, everyone shook their heads helplessly. If there was a powerhouse, they would definitely be happy. Moreover, Lin Yun's cultivation wasn't weak. It was impossible for him to disappear without any resistance. Madam, I feel that there shouldn't be a problem. The sect's guardian array didn't have the slightest change. So, I feel that it might be the sect master who did it? Sect master? Everyone was puzzled. Their eyes were filled with confusion. They did not understand what he meant. This sect leader is not the same sect leader. The sect leader I'm referring to is sect leader Linley, our master. Is it the sect master? My husband? Although it was just a guess, most of them were convinced. To them, their master was omnipotent. No, although it might be our husband, we still have to send a pair of disciples to look for him, said Ying. No one objected to this and they all agreed with this method. After all, this matter was settled. At this moment, in the Nethervoid territory, the Netherworld, the Dragon Spring Secret Realm, the Death territory, a beam of light descended from the sky and landed not far from Lin Ray. A blurry figure appeared in the beam of light, but it made Lin Ray's nose tingle. Ding! Lin Yun successfully teleported. Ding! Teleportation successful. Fixed teleportation closed. Please check. After that, the beam of light that descended from the sky instantly lost its luster, and Lin Yun's figure appeared in Lin Ray's line of sight. At this moment, Lin Yun was also looking at this scene with a dumbfounded expression. He remembered that he had just been discussing with everyone about how to deal with the sect alliance. But in the next second, he found himself in this lifeless place, without the slightest bit of vitality. It made him feel extremely uncomfortable. He looked around and hesitated. It was dark, so he couldn't see much here. Coincidentally, Lin Ray wasn't in his line of sight. Linley understood this point, and he had done it on purpose. When he saw Lin Yun's figure turn around, joy flashed in his eyes and a smile appeared on his face. Then, the primal Chaos Dragon spear appeared in his hand. I hope you didn't disappoint me with your improvement. After that, he charged out like an arrow. His speed was so fast that it was like a flash. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Lin Yun. Before Lin Yun could react, he raised his spear and threw it at Lin Yun's stomach. Fuck! Lin Yun didn't dare to be careless when he felt the sharp aura in front of him. This energy was terrifying. Clang! The sound of weapons colliding echoed. Suddenly, sparks flew as Lin Yun and Linley clashed with their spears. The scene was extremely intense. Senior, who are you? Why did you attack me for no reason? Lin Yun asked. He wanted to figure out where this place was. However, what awaited him was an endless silence, followed by a storm of attacks. Chapter 1398. Clang. Bang. Spear after spear. Lin Ray couldn't stop. He didn't give Lin Yun a chance to see him clearly and attacked again. As the battle went on, his fighting strength also increased. At first, Lin Yun thought that he could handle both attacks, but as Lin Ray's aura grew stronger and stronger, it became a one-sided suppression. This made Lin Yun feel very stifled. He didn't have any idea. He came here for no reason and was attacked for no reason. Moreover, he felt like he was being played. Senior, this junior has no enmity with you. Is there a need for you to do this? Lin Yun finally couldn't hold on and the spear in his hand was sent flying. Lin Yun didn't have the slightest reaction to this. He just wanted to figure out how he got here and who this person was. What surprised him the most was that this person gave him a familiar feeling. It was as if they had known each other for many years, especially the bloodline bond. Ah! Lin Ray stopped and looked at his son. He was slightly surprised. From the battle just now, he could feel that this son of his was a half-saint. His fighting strength wasn't inferior to some Dao fruit saints. He was even stronger than them. Lin Ray was very satisfied with this. There was no need to hide anymore. With a wave of his hand, the black fog covering his face instantly dissipated and his real face appeared in front of Lin Yun. Father. Lin Yun was at a loss when he saw this familiar face. This was too unreal. No, how can you be my father? My father is now in the Eastern Sea. Moreover, as he spoke, he looked at Lin Rei in front of him. He didn't look much different, but he couldn't figure out why he was here. Moreover, his father was here. However, Lin Rei felt a headache when he heard Lin Yun's words. After all this time, he still couldn't make Lin Yun believe him. You brat. He took a step forward and arrived in front of Lin Yun in an instant. He reached out and pinched Lin Yun's ear, then began to rub it. You brat, you've got guts, haven't you? I've only been gone for a short while. How dare you say that I'm not real when you see me? I think you've become a little arrogant as the sect leader. After saying that, Lin Rei grabbed his spear and started beating Lin Yun's butt. Lin Rei didn't care about Lin Yun's cries of pain. Just like that, he waited until the anger in his heart subsided before he recovered. After being beaten up by Lin Li, Lin Yun finally believed that this terrifying man in front of him was his own father. There was no doubt about it. Following behind Lin Rei, Lin Yun couldn't help but ask, Father, where is this place? Why am I here? Why are you here? Moreover, this place is filled with an austere aura. Moreover, I can sense the existence of a remnant soul with a terrifying cultivation. A series of questions entered Lin Rei's ears. Regarding this, Lin Rei did not show the slightest bit of impatience. On the contrary, his face was filled with gratification. Not bad. To be able to sense the remnant souls here in such a short time, it was a pity how sturdy his foundation was. This is not the holy world, but a different space. Here, there are cultivators stronger than the strongest in the holy world. In this place they are called the Eternal Realm. As for the remnant souls here, this is the Netherworld, the first layer of the Dragon Spring Secret Realm, the Death Realm. Don't underestimate this Death Realm. It almost killed me back then. As for you, looking at Lin Yun, Lin Rei continued, of course I brought you here. Look at you, you're already a sect leader, but your body is still so weak. You can use this opportunity to train here, temper your body, and polish your cultivation. Lin Yun was dumbfounded. Weak body? Father, it's clearly your body that's too strong. Why don't you take a look at how big your fist is and how good your cultivation is? How can I compare to you? Lin Yun was the type who dared to be angry but did not dare to say anything. Although he thought about it in his heart, his face was smiling, as if he was enjoying it very much. This time, I brought you here mainly because I want to raise your cultivation. I'll listen to father. Lin Yun did not dare to resist and could only obey. Let's set a small goal first. Lin Yun looked at his father in confusion. He was very doubtful about what cultivation realm his father was talking about. Let's break through to the Earth Saint realm first. After all, if a sect leader does not have any disciples under him, what's the point of having an elder's cultivation? As expected. Hearing this, Lin Yun understood that he was about to be subjected to inhumane torture. Furthermore, breaking through from the half-saint realm to the Earth Saint realm was not just a little bit of a leap, it was 2 whole realms. How could it be so easy? Father, are we really going to break through to the Earth Saint realm like that? Aren't you going to hesitate and think about it? Lin Yun could not help but ask. The main reason was that he thought it was impossible. The gap between 2 realms was too big. Furthermore, the Xuanzong sect was currently in a half-dead state. He had to return to take charge, otherwise, what would happen to the Xuanzong sect? Bastard! Lin Rei glared at Lin Yun angrily. Looking at Lin Yun's disappointing appearance, he could not help but feel angry. Just a moment ago, he was still a little angry, but in the next moment, it became like this. Don't you know that the sect leader has to suppress the entire sect? If you don't have cultivation, how can they truly believe in you? The current sect only did not do anything to you because of this old man's face. If one day, this old man is no longer around, what will you do? Continue like this? Have you never thought that there will be a traitor in the sect, just like back in the immortal world? Saying that, Lin Yun fell silent. However, Lin Rei did not have any intention of stopping. Back in the immortal world, if this old man did not have absolute strength, they would not have acted against the sect. If this old man was not in the sect at that time, your aunt and brother would not have been killed. In the end, this old man's strength was not enough to suppress the entire immortal world. Otherwise, none of this would have happened. Father, you have a family now. Don't tell me you want to see your wife and children killed? As soon as these words came out, it hammered Lin Yun's heart heavily. This time, the hesitation in Lin Yun's eyes disappeared. Yes, he had personally experienced what happened back then. If Jean Ling had not saved him back then, he was afraid that not only Jean Ling and her mother would have been killed. Perhaps, he would also have died in that war. Father, I understand. Looking at Lin Yun's expression, Lin Rui knew that his words had taken effect. Well, if that's the case, then hurry up and go into cultivate. I have set up many interesting formations and mechanisms here for you. In addition to the unique remnant souls here, I believe that you will be very, very happy for a period of time. Chapter 1399. In the following period of time, Lin Yun truly experienced the happiness that his father spoke of. There was love, gentleness, and everything went smoothly. No, these weren't the case. In the face of death, there was only fear, death, and unknown danger. Lin Yun swore that he had never encountered such a terrifying place in his life. He was originally sleeping soundly, but a remnant soul suddenly appeared and instantly entered his body. It began to wreak havoc. That kind of fear was unforgettable. At that moment, coldness and death accompanied him. That kind of feeling was similar to that of a dead person. If he hadn't sealed off all of his senses in time and blocked the remnant soul from wreaking havoc in his body, he would have already become a cold corpse. And Lin Rui was very clear about all of this. He was even partly involved in it. This so-called adding fuel to the fire, this was Lin Rui's normal state during this period of time. The reason was so that he could quickly temper his son and let him go to welcome the next person. Of course, this was only an experiment. Next time, it wouldn't be just one person. Next time, it would definitely come in batches. At that time, whether or not there would be enough traps here would be another matter. In the Holy World, the elders of the sect began to search for Lin Yun. However, they didn't send out too many people. Only one group was sent out. The rest of the people stayed in the sect and cultivated in seclusion. In their hearts, they had already attributed Lin Yun's disappearance to Lin Rui. They couldn't understand why Lin Yun would suddenly disappear when he could easily pass through Lin Rui's formation without any sound. The Xuanzong sect didn't change much, but the Yellow Domain was different. Because of the Xuanzong sect's massacre, more than 10 sects disappeared without a trace. To them, this was a warning of the Xuanzong sect's ambition. And regarding this, the Xuanzong sect seemed to know what everyone was thinking. During this period of time, they didn't go out to cause trouble, and they didn't go out to hunt demonic beasts. Realm of the Gods, Ancient Dragon City. This was an ancient city in the western region. In this city, fighting and killing were forbidden. Even flying was strictly forbidden. Meanwhile, in Ancient Dragon City, Lin Shan was walking down the main street, looking around at the stalls doing business in boredom. It's here. It's the blood essence of the human sovereign. It's not hard to miss it. Just as Lin Shan was bored to death, the voice of a small stall owner sounded in Lin Shan's ears. Human sovereign? Blood essence? After being in the god realm for so long, this was the first time he had heard of something like the blood essence of a human emperor. Furthermore, what the hell was the human emperor? Was his cultivation very strong? What's the use of his lead? Even though he was thinking about it, his body had already arrived at the mountain of stalls. He squatted down and looked at the items on the stall. As Lin Rui's son, although he could not be said to have read a lot of books, his horizons were still quite good. Especially after Lin Rui had ascended to the saint's world, he had spent almost every day in the scripture pavilion. Apart from reading books, he had also been working hard on cultivating. In order to reunite with his family as soon as possible, he was willing to risk his life and cultivate day after day without stopping. Lin Shan's interest was piqued when he saw what the boss was holding. Just a moment ago, something similar to a drop of blood had disappeared. A pure fire element surged into the sky. Although it was only for an instant, Lin Shan was certain that this thing was definitely extraordinary. Boss, this thing. Pointing at the blood essence, he asked, "How much is it? Give me a number." At this moment, seeing Lin Shan like this, some people who were watching the show walked over and watched this scene with interest. From the eyes of this group of people, Lin Shan could see the mocking expression. He understood that this group of people was just laughing at him. As the saying went, He usually did not open his business and ate instant noodles when he opened his business. It had been a day and he had not made much money. Now, a spendthrift had come. Looking at the funny clothes he was wearing, he must be a rich person. After thinking for a while, he extended his hand, opened all 5 fingers, and waved it at Lin Shan. What do you mean? Looking at the hand in front of him, Lin Shan was rather confused. He really did not understand what this meant. When he took it, he did not ask clearly. What do you mean? The boss was stunned by Lin Shan's words. However, for the sake of money, the boss could only be straightforward. He said, 500,000 mid-grade divine crystals. Not a cent more, not a cent less. 5. Looking at the boss, Lin Shan was stunned. He did not care about money, but he was not a fool. He would not be so stupid as to throw the money away. Looking at the boss's face, Lin Shan's face gradually turned cold. That's too much, boss. At this moment, in the dark, Bai Qi and Dian Wei were following closely behind. Of course, they were secretly protecting him. They did not dare to disobey Lin Rei's orders. Looking at Lin Shan's behavior, Dian Wei could not help but sigh. Tell me, why is such a good kid like this in the eyes of the master? Looking at his brother, Bai Qi laughed. You're secretly talking about the master. If the master finds out about your loss, you'll be in serious trouble. He was obviously joking, but Dian Wei did not care about it at all. He continued, that's true. Look at how obedient the young master is. During this period of time, he has been cultivating and studying. Tell me, how can the master? However, before he could finish speaking, Bai Qi hastily interrupted him. That's enough. Staring at Lin Shan, he suddenly thought of what Lin Rei had done before he left. Bai Qi, tell me then. What arrangements should I make when I enter the saint's world this time? I dare not. I dare not. Lin Rei was speechless when he saw Bai Qi's reaction. He did not seem to have done anything. Moreover, do I look that scary? That was one thing, but he obviously could not express it. He looked at the group of people before him. They were all founding members who had accompanied him from the very beginning of the Xuanzong sect to where they were now. When you enter the saint's world this time, you have to achieve 3 small objectives first. The first is to establish the 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect and have a place to stay in the saint's world. The second is to improve your cultivation. Although this is the saint's world, not all of you are saints. There are gods there too. However, the gods cultivated by the saint's spiritual qi in the saint's world should be much stronger than in the god's world. Therefore, the moment you enter the saint's world, you must quickly convert your spiritual qi into saint's spiritual qi in the saint's world so that you can improve your cultivation quickly. Only then can you accomplish the first objective. As for the third objective, I hope that all the sects and races in the saint's world will worship you within 10,000 years. Everyone was speechless. Lin Rei's words stunned everyone. No one said anything. Even their breaths were almost inaudible. Everyone turned to look at Linley. Their expressions were complicated, and all sorts of emotions appeared. What is wrong with you? Seeing everyone's reaction, Lin Rei asked. He did not understand why his 3 small objectives would cause everyone to react like this. Everyone was stunned, and no one responded to Linley's words. After an unknown period of time, Bai Qi regained his senses. Raising his head to look at Linley, he said in a daze. Young master, of the 3 things you mentioned, the first 2 are still manageable. But the last one, to be worshipped by all the sects and clans within 10,000 years. This is possible. Yes, young master. Let alone 10,000 years, even 20,000 years might not be enough. Yes, that is the saint's world, not the god's world. There are hundreds of races there, and all kinds of experts are there. To make all the sects and races worship you in 10,000 years, we feel that this is a little exaggerated. Yes, that's right. After Bai Qi spoke up, the rest of the people who came back to their senses spoke up one after another. Most of them felt that this matter was a little exaggerated. After all, it was the saint's world, not the god's world, where there were not many saints. Compared to the god's world, the saint's world was a first-class city, while the god's world was a ravine. There was no comparison. You guys. Lin Rei knew what they were thinking, but he did not say anything about it. As for the specifics, they would have no choice after entering the saint's world. Bai Qi thought of the 3 objectives Lin Rei mentioned. He could not help but feel excited. How he wanted to leave the God's world, go to the Saints' world, and conquer the world with Lin Rei. But when he thought that Lin Rei's departure was the last thing he wanted, he compromised. Bai Qi, Dian Wei, I'll leave this to you. 3,000 years, just 3,000 years. If this disappointing person can't protect himself, then you can directly sense the call of the Saints' world and come to me when you return. As for the Xuanzong sect in the God's world, just ignore them. Bai Qi and Dian Wei were together in the dark. When they heard Lin Rei's voice transmission, they nodded heavily and replied, Bai Qi, Dian Wei, listen to the young master's orders. Remember my previous instructions. Don't worry about his life or death, or he will have to rely on himself. Yes, we understand the young master's painstaking efforts. Naturally, we won't ruin the young master's plans. Yes, that's good. He trusted Bai Qi and Dian Wei very much. That was why he could leave with peace of mind. Okay, I'm leaving. Just like that, he watched Lin Rei leave. After receiving Lin Rei's request, he had to stay here and help to look down on this young master. 3,000 years was just a blink of an eye in his eyes. 10,000 years was nothing. But what should they do in the Saints' world? He really wanted to know. Now that the 3,000 years were getting closer and closer, he couldn't stay calm anymore. Dian Wei, our young master has been very active during this period. Keep an eye on him and don't let anything happen to him. After all, he's the master's descendant. We can't afford to be responsible if something happens to him. Besides, looking at Lin Shan, he smiled and said, the young master is quite neat. Young master has only been away for a short while, but he has already reached the great perfection of the immortal venerable realm. If this trend continues, it won't be long before he reaches the God realm. If he could take the young master to the forbidden areas of the God's world, he believed that he would gain more. Perhaps he could take the young master to the Saints' world when the time came. Dian Wei looked at Bai Qi with a strange expression. He glanced back and forth at him with a funny expression. Hey Bai Qi, are you having a fever? Why are you dreaming during the day? Get lost. Humph, it's true. Look, even if the young master is extraordinarily talented, do you think anyone can be the master in 3,000 years? Hearing that, Bai Qi came back to himself. That was right. Even if the young master was extraordinarily talented, he couldn't be better than Lin Rei. On the other hand, Lin Shan and the owner of the stall were arguing over the price of the divine crystals. Seeing Lin Shan's reaction, Dian Wei shook his head helplessly. You stay here. I'll go take a look. After he finished speaking, he disappeared and reappeared beside Lin Shan. I say, young master, our family doesn't lack money. Why don't you just give it to him? Bargaining here is a waste of time and boring. If you have the time, you might as well cultivate or increase your experience. Dian Wei, you're here. He turned around and glanced at Dian Wei. Then, he resumed the bargaining process. He didn't listen to Dian Wei's words at all. 250,000. 250,000. I'm done for. You should know how much it costs. Don't be greedy. Then, he threw the storage ring containing 250,000 divine crystals on the stall. 250,000. Give it to me if you've made up your mind. If you don't, I'll leave now. Think about it. However, if I don't buy it today, I'm afraid it will take a long time to sell it. As he spoke, he picked up the storage ring that he had just thrown on the stall and was about to leave. Wait. Suddenly, a hand grabbed Lin Shan's hand and pulled him back to the stall. Young man, don't be hasty. The boss understood that Lin Shan's words made a lot of sense. How about this? 280,000. No, 230,000. Lin Shan shook his head. What? Why? Why did you say 250,000 just now? Why? 200,000. Lin Shan ignored the owner and reduced the price by 20,000 again. This time the owner panicked. 180,000. The price was reduced again. This time, the owner was really panicked. He waved his hand hurriedly. Okay, 250,000. That's the price you said before. Deal. You can have it. Seeing that the price had been adjusted to the price he wanted, Lin shone through the storage ring away and reached out his hand. The essence of the human emperor in the owner's hand immediately flew into Lin Shan's hand. At this moment, he felt a lot more relieved when he really grasped the essence of the human emperor. I finally got you. Lin Shan released his divine consciousness and sensed the intense fire element in it. How could he not be excited? He had a feeling that if he absorbed all of it, he would be able to break through the immortal state and enter the immortal state. By then, he would be even closer to the saint's world. On the side, Dian Wei could naturally tell that the item in Lin Shan's hand was extraordinary. However, it was completely useless for him. Let's go, young master. Let's go. He didn't stay any longer. He turned around and left with Dian Wei. At this moment, the owner of the stall thought that he had made a fortune. However, he didn't know that someone would buy his item even if it was priced at 5 million or 10 million, let alone 250,000. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.